What's up? Welcome back to the Section 10 Podcast, episode 520, presented by Underdog Fantasy. It is the home of your soon-to-be 2025 World Series champion, Boston Red Sox. My name is Jared Carabas, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Coley Mick, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Tyler Milliken, and he killed his dog Bullet, and you can't teach that. Bada boom. Realest guys in the room. Steve, how you do it?
Ooh, what up, Section 10 in the building?
In the mother fucking building. Presented by Blue Moon.
Suck one.
No Jake Yazzie today.
Rest in peace.
Jeremy filling in on the ones and twos. Where? Jake's in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
God bless him.
I think we're each getting our Florida trip. I got one late January. Tyler, you going to Florida at any point?
No, I haven't been since 7th grade.
Oh,
hey,
damn,
maybe
dude.
late February? Maybe.
Anything's possible.
I had a phone call about that today, actually.
About tea?
Before the show started, I told Tyler, I was like, I got some good news for you. And he was like, good news? And I was like, no, not about the Red Sox.
Listen, I'm looking for anything right now.
I understand. You're excited. I know. Simpleton. I said, T, I got some good news for you. And let me tell you right now, I sat down, I want to say this past weekend. I guess it was like during it feels like Monday. It's Thursday because of the holiday. I watched the best of Section 10 2024. And I watched it to completion, full climax. And I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, man, Section 10 went away after 2021. Steve betrayed us, left us. Dave kept the name and the IP, and me and Coley ended up at different companies, and it just really felt like I didn't want to say never, but I think how fast it came back together was surprising to me. Obviously, very happily it did in 2024. Big year, big return. I think a lot of people were surprised too that it came back in 2 years. And then we brought T into the fold, and as I'm watching the best of 2024, the one thing that I came away from watching that best of was Tyler was the MVP of 2024. A lot of those best of segments, they don't happen without T, and they don't hit the same without T. I'm going to think about that for a second, Tyler. Section 10, me, Steve, Coley, for years, obviously throwing Pete Pat fights. But
this show's not the same without fights. Let's be honest. This show is
right. We don't get to where we're at without his contributions. That's just a fact. But for us to get back together with all that hype in 2024, and for me to walk away from that best of being like, Tyler was the MVP of most, if not all of that. I think that you should feel pretty damn good about yourself.
Thank you. That does mean a lot. I will say, I feel like you're only saying this because Jake's not here. Because when Jake got Rookie of the Year, there was a very...
Tyler,
Whoa, I'm just talking
Tyler, hold on.
I'm not trying to be a dick or anything here.
Before I throw you in the fucking slammer, buddy, the fact that I just gave you the opening of the show, the MVP of our return season, and a heartfelt compliment, and you just took it and shoved it right back up my keister.
Listen, I'm a dog. That's all I can
crazy.
say. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
T.
Listen, I'm not
T.
Whoa!
T. You cooked.
Yeah, dude. That's great. I just did an awesome thing for you. Feather in the cap, a notch in your belt. That's... the lengths that I just went to build you up, and you're like, You only did that because Jake's not here. What does that even mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Why
Well,
would
Jake
being
won-
here or not being here matter?
Jake did get Rookie of the Year. I don't know if this is a Rookie of the Year thing that Tyler's still upset about. T?
How are you the MVP and you're not the Rookie of the Year?
Pretty easily.
I didn't vote for that, asshole.
Nope. Actually, nobody voted on that. It was something decided in the background here.
No.
We'll never know.
That
We
was
may
voted
never
on by
know
the
how that all went down.
Steve, voted on by the fans or no? What's up with this fucking internet? Where are you,
He's
dude?
cooked.
Jupiter? I don't know what's going on, but Steve, what the fuck, man?
That Cape Cod internet.
Am I back?
You're
just
back,
dox
but
him?
like, is this how it's gonna be now?
Is this bad?
It's pretty choppy.
Oh, God. Yeah, this is first one with a different setup here. There's a chance I'm cooked. This could be a T episode. I could be cooked. There's an outside chance.
No. What about your mobile hotspot or something like that?
That might be worse.
Yeah. Well,
I had feared this. I had feared this a lot.
Yeah, I'm. Your fears have come to life because it's not good.
Damn it.
It's not good, and Tyler just took my heartfelt sentiment. Like I've been sitting on that for days. Like I'm just like, man. After I finished watching the best of, I was like, I can't wait to sit down and record section 10 so that I can give T his flowers. And he just was like, take your flowers and shove them right up your ass. Coley?
I just want to give a proper shout out to Jeremy, who again, like we said, we got long relief in right now. And when you go to suspend someone, Jeremy was right on it. So
I mean,
I might argue Jeremy, based off of the out of context, all the hard work he does was the real MVP.
You know what? I'm taking it back. Jeremy's the MVP.
Are you kidding me?
Congratulations, Jeremy. MVP, Section 10 MVP.
Porter than Tyler.
2024. That's awesome, man. Congratulations to Jeremy. It was a big year for him. You know, the promos were fire, as always. Some of them were so original. Like, even the buzzer beater submission that he got in at the end of the year, the Dan Peralt Royal Rumble promo that he did. There was one that was like horror themed. There was one, I think it might have been when Tyler was burning down his house and it just kept cutting to like Coley laughing maniacally. There's cutting promos for a show, and then there's what Jeremy does where he creates cinema from the show. Like it's very hard to do, and that's why he's the MVP of 2024.
He's got a great eye. He notices.
Yeah.
He's constantly noticing the intricacies, the background, all of it. He's ingrained in the culture.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best. Tyler?
I'm proud of you, Jeremy. Before the award is officially taken from me, I do want to just say...
It's gone. It's gone.
Long
it's
gone.
100%. I can't even maybe possibly win it back with some really cool
No,
words
you
here.
punted
I
it.
don't
We wouldn't even
believe
be
so,
talking
no.
about it. If you didn't get suspended, Jeremy wouldn't have come up.
If anyone was going to take it from me, I'm happy it's Jeremy, especially not Jake. But all I'm saying is, whoa, it's no disrespect to Jake.
Wait a second. You just disrespected Jake, though.
No, but Jake usually, like, if it's Jake or Tyler, everyone's like, all right, let's be for fucking real. It's Jake. Like, no one's picking Tyler over Jake. We know that.
I just did.
Didn't you beat him in the Twitter thing?
I did. That was a little different, though. I felt like that was a bit of a pity win. I will say when it comes to Jake, hold on. All I'm saying is, in this moment, Jared, where you acknowledge me and give me this love, I just want you to tell me I'm the hottest girl at the party in front of all the girls you've been with.
I can't because you called D-Train the hottest girl at the party on New Year's Eve.
Stop that. Let's
You
not
did do
start
that.
spreading that. I did not do anything like that. That is a crazy accusation.
Oh, man. You did do that.
T?
No, I'm not. I ain't
You did
talking
do that.
titties at all, bro.
Yeah, I mean, listen, New Year's Eve wedding, I'm there, and me and Train are taking pictures, and I post one, and fucking Tyler just goes, 2 goats, obviously talking about her breasts.
That's crazy.
That's how everyone at the party took it. That's how everyone. Oh yeah, listen. Everyone took it that way. And listen, I'm not offended. I don't, what's the word? Behest. I don't. There's no animosity on my end.
So D-Train looked at that and was like, "Oh, he's talking about my breast."
She said it was very funny.
Hornball.
Yeah, she thought the whole exchange was very
No,
funny.
I was just acknowledging two goats. Why is that sexual?
Listen, I respect it.
I was at dinner with Martha and trying to explain that to her as she watched it on the timeline on New Year's Eve. Are you fucking kidding me? You ruined my New Year's Eve.
I did?
Yes, completely.
Listen, I gotta take a suspension.
Thank you.
But not for that. Do you remember what was the last episode? And I was talking about how your tweets are awfully formatted. And I said, what was it? Raphael's dildos or something like that.
Raphael Enjoyer.
Raphael Enjoyer. So I wasn't making fun of him. I was making fun of you just citing random accounts all the time. But Raphael Enjoyer, he or she, I don't know. They does great edits. I've checked it out. Very good work. Very dedicated Red Sox Twitter member. So if I offended this person, I apologize because I wasn't talking about them. I threw out a random name and it happened to have Raphael in it. I didn't even know like if you used a Raphael or something. Whatever. So I'm going to take a suspension for that because I think I hurt their feelings and I'm sorry.
I think
they're very supportive of the 10. Extremely.
Yeah, I think they just wanted their good name cleared. I don't think they were offended by any stretch. That's not how I read the reply.
And I will say, out of the people doing Photoshops on Red Sox Twitter, outside of the stuff we do, I do think they're the best. And they're willing to do some of the weirder ones that, people don't typically make a Photoshop for. Like you want like a Jeff Hoffman kind of thing, you're going to get that from Raphael Enjoyer. You're not getting that anywhere else.
Thank
God.
God.
I'll take my first suspension of 2025. Thankfully, it's not the first suspension. Like obviously, Tyler was the first suspension of 2025 when he got his MVP taken away. But yeah, follow Rafaela and is it Rafaela Enjoyer?
Correct.
Follow Rafaela Enjoyer on Twitter. Let's get those follows up. That's my suspension apology. I knew I had to take one. I almost forgot why. But how was your New Year's Eve, Coley?
Watched Wicked, didn't talk about Train's tits.
Honks.
Didn't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was good, I wasn't in the doghouse for that.
Were you actually in the doghouse, T?
Martha did question me for a hot second just why I would tweet that, especially because we were at dinner and I was on my phone when it happened. It wasn't like, oh, we're in the Uber and nobody gives a fuck. Like she was sitting directly across as I typed it out and had to read the responses.
You said, get a load of these things, hon. Huh?
Yeah.
Good God.
Crazy. We had a nice dinner, though. We did something nice. It was,
Where'd you guys go, T?
1928.
I thought you were going to say the 99. I was about to slap the shit out of you.
Come on. You think I'm mad, Dad? I had
Imagine shutting down the 99 on New Year's Eve. It's just him,
it might go
Martha.
crazy. I don't hate it.
It might. I don't know. I don't know if it's popping. I don't know if it's still open at midnight on New Year's Eve. I don't know.
Definitely not. I would want something like 6 courses, though, if I were to have the restaurant to myself. I would want a typical appetizer. Buffaloes, moons. Let's kind of feel ourselves out. Skins maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe next year's New Year's Eve plan. If we can get that on the books, we bang out a 99.
There's a 99. We usually,
everywhere.
Usually, but we had the wedding this year, but we had people over for New Year's Eve the year before, and there's a 99 down the street from here. We can have a New Year's Eve party here and have it catered by the 99.
No.
I would love that.
I want to be
go
at the nines all night.
Okay. All night.
Okay.
You have a
Basically
good
the ship
nines,
you just
too.
pulled.
Yeah, it's a great nines. Yeah.
6 to midnight at the nines.
Done. I mean, that's what the wedding was. I was trashed. I mean, you talk about like a 6.5 hour reception. Now you're playing with fire. Luckily, no incidents, no fights. There was no drama. Everyone was having a great time. It was the typical Saugus wedding. Like they're up there. You get the best man speeches. Which, by the way, great news for Coley. Because I went to this wedding. Probably, I don't know, in my life, maybe I'm at double digits, but barely. around there, probably like 10 weddings in my life. Never seen the double best man before, because I had talked about that before with Coley, and I was like, you know, my best friend Ryan, like we've been best friends since kindergarten, but he's never even hung out with Train, not once. Like he's got a 1-year-old, like he's just living the married life, and he's not very social. So now I can have the double best man. Now Coley can also have the best man on it. T?
Or, you know, some people are trying this new thing out that's really different. It's the triple best man. I don't know. I haven't seen it like super popular anywhere
Steve's
yet.
Speech would be so long, you know. I feel like it would be just, I'd get bored, you know, and it would come off as insincere.
You could do the quad best man. You know, that's possible too. That's always on the table.
Jake may have a great speech. For sure.
Oh,
if I knew what 5 was, I'd say it.
It would, but he just keeps yapping, that guy. You give him the mic, you're not getting it back.
People would be banging their glasses for him to shut up. Yeah. And if it was 5, I could never give Dallas a hot mic at my wedding. That would just be a roast. Which, like, I do like. Jay would be dropping divorce rate nugs up there.
Am I even invited?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you can come.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're Martha's +1.
Please
refrain
Martha from talking about the bride on that day. Just calm it down.
I'm not that kind of guy. I'm an innocent dude.
You've already proven to be that guy. So.
How am I going to look D-Train in the eyes next time I see her after this situation?
Well, it'd be a nice change of pace to look her in the eyes.
Please stop it, please. This is getting crazy. Martha listens to this podcast. D-Train, I respect you. I do.
I didn't even know she was a woman until you pointed it out. I don't see color like that.
Objectifying is crazy. That's crazy.
The glazing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. The glazing.
The train glaze is outrageous.
Yeah. It is very funny though. Like when I that night was the first time that I ever posted her on Twitter. And people, like, that's a whole different audience. Like I felt, you know, dipping my toe in with Instagram, you know, story first, then maybe a post, but not the first slide. Then it is the first slide. Then it's like, all right, then I'll do like a whole fucking photo dump. Hadn't done Twitter yet. So I needed to be drunk to, you know, have that happen, because Twitter, they're animals. They're mean people. They are savages on Twitter. But not really that many. The only like inappropriate comment was from Tyler.
You said IG was pretty rough when you did do it, right? So Twitter was somewhat calm. That's ridiculous, dude. I tried to hype y'all. I'm saying something positive.
Yeah, no.
So I don't talk.
No, we appreciated it.
No, it's you kind of, when you do that on Twitter.
Yep.
You're kind of like breaking kayfabe over there. So people don't know how to really react. They're like, wow, that's the actual human, not just the guy trolling my baseball team. Yeah.
Yeah. And people were like, wait, I thought like the whole D-Train thing was fake and that this person didn't exist. They were like, that's her. Yep.
I love that she's just trained now.
Trained. Yeah. So that was another thing. That's another thing that I was workshopping in between pods. Was dropping Train for the first time. So that made me laugh. Like, you ever, I don't know if it's just me, you ever like make yourself laugh and then you have to lie about what make yourself laugh? Because like, you're not going to find this funny. So yeah, there's one day I just started giggling downstairs and she's like, what's so funny? And the answer was, because I can't wait to drop Train on the podcast. Like, I'm gonna find it hilarious. You probably not so much. So I have to like make something up about.
Is she pro Train?
She like, I had to explain like Dontrell Willis to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is where the nickname comes from, and yeah, she's not like a big baseball person. She don't give a fuck.
That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
No, high leg kick on her though.
Yeah. Yep, big time. Speaking of weddings, congratulations to
Bobby Dahlbeck.
Yep, got married. I don't know if it was it might have also been a New Year's Eve wedding. And I saw Alex Verdugo was there, bearded once again. Rob Refsnyder, Trevor Story. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. I'm just happy you got a win this offseason. I know he's still in pursuit. Whoa! What am I saying?
What is wrong with you? That's crazy to say that on a man's wedding day. It's his wedding day, Tyler. It's the happiest day of his life. And you're taking swipes? That's crazy.
Sickening.
It really is, dude.
Don't let him get a look at Mrs. Dahlbeck, because that's the last thing. That he will actually get beaten to death.
By the way, Mrs. Dahlbeck probably could beat the shit out of Tyler.
Me?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, she's a tall drink of water. Very fit.
Why are you warming up to fight her?
I'm not gonna lose. This is like fair sparring, right? I'm not like just showing up to punch her out.
Why are you firing yourself up right now, bro?
I'm not taking the L. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they hate your ass.
As they should. All I'm saying.
Who else was there from the Red Sox?
Did you get an invite, J-Dog?
Him and Story in the corner being like, man, I fucking hate that Coley guy. And Bob's just like, really? I think Tyler sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool to see Doogie back with they basically reunited the 21 Sox for that wedding, which is, love the 21 Sox. I found myself on New Year's Eve just scrolling through 21 Sox highlights of all the years. Like have memories of 2004, 2007, 13, 18 was there for the clinchers for both of those. And when the ball was dropping and I was just in my feels, I'm scrolling 21 Sox. I don't know why that team just had my heart.
They had aura. Like that was the definition of it. And I think you felt so many times in that ALCS, whether it was the Kyle Schwarber homer or Kike Hernandez going absolutely bonkers, they felt like a team destined to win it all that year. And then I don't know, just even the hype videos. I still post that 2021 hype video to Dancing on My Own all the time. It hits in the feels in a different way.
They did have the song like every other World Series team had,
but they were the first one with that song, and then the Phillies tried it, the Bruins tried it.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's just crazy.
Buffoon. I'm saying every Red Sox team that had won a World Series had their own song to go along with it.
But they made that song cool, and then everyone else was like, oh, I'm bringing it. Like Kyle Schwarber's bringing it over there. I still think the Red Sox did it better than anyone, and I'm happy nobody's won with that song.
And no one remembers outside of Boston that the Red Sox were the first team to have Dancing on My Own. Like now it's like a Phillies thing. It's like, it's desecrating a grave to me. It's disrespectful. I stand by Kevin Pilecki, who used it as his walk-up song, and that's where it started. And I don't fault or shame Kyle Schwarber for bringing it with him to Philly, but when they tried to use it after using it in 22 and they didn't win the World Series, like it should have died there.
Once we lost with it, you don't want to use a losing song.
No. And it was the next year. It was the following year. If you had dug it up and been like, this was cool like 10 years ago, fine. It's almost like wearing like retro gear, throwback jersey. We'll bring that song back. It was the next year.
Fuck Laz Diaz.
Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm. I'll also add, weirdly enough, with Chris Sale coming back down the stretch that season, him with the strikeout, with the bases loaded, screaming outside of the 2018 World Series clinching moment. Is that the second moment people put for Chris Sale in their head? Like, I felt like when people were saying goodbye to Chris Sale a year ago, it was the 2018 World Series, and then it was that. Like, that was the second clip people put out, and that was Sale, hitting 99, but with nothing in the fucking tank.
Yeah. My memory of that is in person. Like I've obviously seen the clip now a million times, but I had dugout seats for that. So he was screaming in my fucking face pretty much. I was right there for that. And I remember it crystal clear because the Wi-Fi, like the service was so bad at Fenway during those playoffs. Like your phones were jammed because there were so many people that your phones were jammed. So there was no like burying your nose in your phone. You were just locked in on the action. Yeah, but I mean, I'm one of those fans that'll just always be happy for Chris Hill. Like if he wins the Cy Young in the next 3 years in a row, like I'm not gonna be like, oh fuck, why didn't you do that here? I can't do it. Because I know that he gave everything he had. That's what I feel.
Get him to the Hall of Fame. That's what's important to me right now.
I think this year cemented it. It was almost like he just needed that 1 year.
That was
yeah. I think he's a Hall of Famer now just because this year put the the icing on it.
Cy Young was the only thing he was missing. How many other top 5 finishes does he have? Like 6, 7?
It was like 6 years in a row, dude.
Right.
That J.A. video that he did on our YouTube channel, check it out. Check out the Underdog Jared Carrabba's YouTube channel. I think the plan is to split that up in 2025. We're going to have a BID channel and a Section 10 channel. By the way, as far as the Section 10 YouTube channel goes, tomorrow's a big day. Are you coming, Coley?
No.
All right, so it's going to be a mediocre day, I guess.
Are
you coming, T?
No.
Okay, so
it's going to be awesome. Where's the response like that?
I'm sad you guys aren't coming, but we're shooting something tomorrow that's going to be special. Yeah, it's going to be very unique, something that we haven't really done before. But it's 10 content on the road.
Yeah, I'm sad upset because I don't want to spoil it, but I had never been to this place before in my entire life.
Fenway Park. I'm upset too. I just have the kids and it's untenable for me to make that journey all in one day with those 2 morons.
2?
Yeah, the third will be elsewhere.
That sounds ominous.
No, not really.
Juvie?
Yeah, the Clink.
Wow.
I always wanted to go to Juvie as a kid, man. Like that always was like one.
I don't know how you didn't.
I was a good kid. I was behaved.
You fight your 8th grade teacher?
Yeah, you wanted to beat up, what was his name? Mr.
fucking Cunningham. Fuck that fool. I know he's listening right now. I have no doubt in my mind. But I only got in trouble with the police one time growing up, and they didn't want to take me away. I was willing to go in.
T?
For what?
What'd you do, T?
When we were in high school, we thought it'd be funny. Like on like Friday and Saturday nights, we'd go to Dollar Tree and buy out all their silly string. And then we would like call people we were like somewhat friends with in high school, but not close enough where they knew it was us. And we'd like vandalize their cars or their mailboxes and stuff like that. And then we'd watch them come out and react to it.
Yeah, you can't do that. Isn't it a felony to deface someone's mailbox?
Allegedly.
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, so hypothetically, Train's oldest daughter is 16, and she'll look at her on the she basically has her location, and she'll be out on a Saturday night, and these teenagers these days, they don't do shit. Like they're not partying in the woods, like they're not going out doing wild shit. Like she'll just go to like McDonald's and like hang out with her friends. I'm like, that's crazy. And I had to explain to her, I was like, this is all hypothetical. This is this didn't actually happen. I was like, when I was her age, I was driving around with my friends, hanging out of the passenger window with a baseball bat, smashing mailboxes, which I believe is a felony. That's all hypothetical. That didn't actually happen. But if I were to go back in time and be 16 again, that's the type of shit I would probably be doing. But again, that didn't happen, and you shouldn't do that too if you're any age.
Well, especially now, like you got hypothetically away with that because someone today would like Tyler would be in the back seat streaming live from Instagram. Like
live tweeting.
Yeah.
The cops would be like, no, we got you. We know exactly who did this.
Yeah. I have a confession to make, actually. I will cop to this one. So we used to drive around and egg houses, and I was backseat driver's side, backseat driver's side, because I'm right-handed. So we're driving down the street and everyone's like hucking eggs out the window, and I was throwing eggs, and then I was kind of like being like a pussy about it, and I wouldn't go fully out the window to throw the egg. So I was in the seat and I fucking threw it, and it's it smashed off the top of the window and just went everywhere inside the car. And they were like, what the fuck happened? And I was like, dude caught it and he threw it back at the car. Like, let's go. I was like, get the fuck out of there. Like, what? Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
What an athlete. So soft.
Yeah. Yes.
We're taking attack from the enemies. Go, floor it.
We gotta get out of here. Yeah. It was me.
That's very funny.
Yeah. I was like,
little flick of the wrist.
Yeah. Those were the days. Those are the days.
Did you guys wear masks when you would do it or anything? We did. We wore the Purge movies were really big at this time.
You wore masks?
Yeah. That's how we got in trouble. Well, we would mix in the eggs from time to time, but it was usually silly string because it was cheap to buy. And it was like you had to watch them clean it up. Like there was good satisfaction from it.
That's crazy, T.
Yeah. One of the girls' dads.
Purge masks
That's crazy.
Wait, what?
This girl's dad was one of the houses we attacked. And he followed us all the way. We sped off, but her dad was a cop and he followed us to Dunkin' Donuts and then reprimanded us.
Honestly, I'm on the dad's side. Now,
he was
as a homeowner and a two-time dad, if someone ever did that to my house, I would be
furious,
livid. Yeah,
we were trying to spit game a little bit, man. We were trying to just say what's up. You're
flirting with her by defacing her dad's house.
It wasn't bad or anything. It was more like, hey, I'm thinking of you. This was before Martha.
Yeah,
Martha skipped this part.
Yeah, you're already in deep shit with Martha.
Would you blow up her house? How'd you get her attention?
No. That was just me putting the moves, man. 19-year-old Tyler Milliken just laying wood.
Yeah, damn.
Jesus.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
Laying wood.
Yeah. I don't know that that's the phrase, but you know what? I'll allow it. And you know what else I'll allow? Downloading the Underdog Fantasy app.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to happen. It's the greatest time of the year. Again, football's back, and it's here to stay until February. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got the game last year by making picks on Underdog. Win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats like touchdowns, passing yards, and more. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head on over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code Jared, that's Jared, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in your bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jared to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. So Alex Bregman, huh?
What about him?
Tell me something positive.
Yeah, it's not happening. Yeah. All right, that'll do it.
That's it. Can you give us a percentage number, or are we at 0?
It's not. I mean, nothing's ever 0. I've been saying the fact that he's still out there gives me like some percentage, I guess. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's very, very low. Like very low. Like worse than Soto. Yeah.
The player wants to be here. The person in charge of signing him doesn't want him here. There are people involved in the organization who want him here, but it doesn't sound like...
If Sam Kennedy wants him and Alex Cora wants him, how do we not... I understand it's bad practice to undercut the...
Terrible.
...general manager. Like, you never want to go over his head and be like, what? Why did you hire me if I'm not... If my decisions don't mean anything? But if that... People of that ilk want the player, why is the player not here?
It tells you Craig Breslow's making the decisions one way or the other for a lot of people who think he's just like some sort of puppet that whatever ownership wants, and Sam Kennedy's part of that ownership, whatever they want, he's going to do. But it's not just Craig Breslow, as we know. There's other people in that front office. So it's like, who are the other guys that are siding with him? Is it Mike Grootman, an analytic type who's now helping more with, off-season moves, came over when Heim was here? Is it like someone like Paul Taboni on that side as well? Because to me, Alex Bregman, I feel like an Eddie Romero type would be thrilled for something like that. That would be a move he'd be completely all over, right? So like, where is the disconnect in the front office versus, Cora and Sam Kennedy in that spot?
I also think Kennedy probably playing both sides of the fence, publicly supporting Cora because, let's face it, Cora is much safer to stay here long term. Cora's here because he wants to be here. Breslow's here as long as they'll allow him to be here. It's a much different thing. So I don't think he'd be not opposed to not signing Bregman. I think he just wanted to support his manager publicly. That's how I read that. I don't think he gives a fuck one way or the other.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Steve Peralt just tweeted.
Oh no.
Had a Tyler Milliken moment tonight while recording the 10. Awful Wi-Fi. No excuses. I feel terrible. I bet the boys are going to read this on the pod and be like, look, he said no excuses, but this is an excuse. I promise you it's not. We'll be better for the next one. Socks Kid. I hate when he signs off tweets Socks Kid. It's very cringe.
I do have a message from Steve here with our DMs for the bonus pod.
He sent a DM for the bonus pod?
I have all the DMs. I have like 6 or 7 of them.
Who the fuck is going to do the DMs if it's not Steve?
Who do you think? When Steve dies and he's not here, who takes his spot in the intro?
We have a recording, kind of like
right, I did,
Bob
and
Shepard.
I nailed it the one time I had to do it.
Kind of like Bob Shepard.
In this situation, I will be the one doing the DMs.
Do you even have the login to our Twitter?
I have the DMs. He sent them to me.
Oh, so
all
no?
Of them. No, I do not.
Okay, I'm just asking. You know, I'm not saying I wouldn't want you to have it. I guess.
I used to tweet from the name redacted account.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Yeah, you did.
Also, and this isn't Steve's fault. When you said breaking news, I thought it was going to be very funny. Me finishing that and you being like, breaking news, Alex Bregman, 6 years, $192 million, Boston Red Sox.
Well, but, I mean, you obviously saw the Ken Rosenthal thing today, right?
Where he said the Red Sox are still the most logical fit for him.
Yeah, it's
just his opinion, though.
Right. People were looking at that being like, oh, we're still in it. It's like, no, you're not.
Well, we've heard the most progress between seemingly any team is between him and the Tigers. But it does feel like we know the Blue Jays are throwing money, but no one wants to go there because in a year, not only could the roster be blown up, but the front office could be completely blown up too. So is there any hope, right, that the Red Sox are going to play this thing out? Maybe you somehow get to the end of January or February and, you're willing to slip in there with a 5-year deal with a super high AAV. That's your only hope.
You want me to play it? I'm going to play it.
Logically, right now, if you had to guess, my guesses would be Bregman to Boston, Alonso back to the Mets, and Santander to Toronto. Toronto's going to get somebody eventually. But again, as we've seen with the Corbin Burns signing, surprises do happen, especially when guys linger on the market and you don't really know how it's going to turn out. Bregman to the Red Sox, to me, is a move that seems very logical. They need a right-handed bat. They've needed that since since last season. And Bregman can play second base for them, or they can play him at third and move Devers over to first or DH him and have him in some combination with Casas. But it seems that second base is the more logical destination for Bregman if he goes there. Logically,
yeah, I don't know, man. I hear what Ken's saying. Is there a fit? Obviously. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while now, but if Breslow doesn't want him and they're giving him the keys to do whatever he wants, then he ain't coming here. How the fuck's he going to come here if you don't pay him money?
Do you think there's a middle ground there, though, where they'd be willing to try and, maybe do it for less years, like that 5-year deal? Or do you think it's like simply either we're in or we're out? And right now we haven't put an offer. 2 teams have, so clearly we're not even going to try. It's like Teoscar Hernandez, essentially.
It's not going to be for 5 years. I mean, like if Detroit and Toronto are giving him competitive offers and coming, because we were talking about on Baseball is Dead today about whether or not he would get 200. I think to get it across the finish line with, let's just say it's Detroit, I think the years will just, the comparison I used was the Max Fried deal. I think a lot of us were surprised to see that 8th year and then that got it over the $200 million mark. I think that'll probably happen with Bregman. Like Detroit will be like, listen, I know you don't want to come here, but we need you, and here's an extra year to sweeten the pot, and then that's where he goes. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, with Alec Boehm in Philly, too. If he ends up getting shipped out eventually, I think Dave Dombrowski would jump in there and throw $200 million, and that's the exact guy he wouldn't give a fuck to go over $200 million for a veteran. He thinks that pushes them over. But I don't know. I think when you talk the Tigers, like the big selling point, it's AJ Hinch. Well, congrats. You have Alex Cora. Like, yes, obviously AJ Hinch was his manager, but Alex Cora was the bench coach. So, like, you have that relationship one way or the other. And damn well, Bregman knows playing in Detroit is not going to be good for his career long term. That is not a ballpark that's going to suit him well whatsoever.
We looked at the numbers this morning. It was like a 1,200 OPS at Fenway, a 700 OPS at Comerica, and a little over a 700 OPS in Toronto. So if those are the three teams that I've narrowed it down to, I'm looking at the Red Sox being like, can you please just come close? You know, like, can you be in striking distance? Because if Toronto is the team that's going to end up with Santander after Bregman signs, I think they probably want Bregman over. I don't know. I don't know which player they prefer more. But let's just say their focus is on Bregman.
They can't be real choosy up there.
No. I mean, no one wants to take their money. It's crazy. No one wants to take their money. But again, like, if you really don't want to go to Toronto and the Red Sox aren't playing ball, it's, do the math. It's going to end up being the Tigers. But
Toronto would be World Series front runners if they got half the people they've thrown money to this offseason. They'd be unbelievable.
Burns, Bregman, Santander. Like, goddamn. Yeah.
The Red Sox are in such an enviable position that they don't take advantage of at all. It's like they have players that want to come here that even, let's just say he's trying to get to X and you come in below at Y, they would probably take it. They're like, how about $0? Like that's how they're operating. I would
rather Breslow be wrong his way than be wrong the front everyone else's
Agreed.
way. That's what they accused Heim of doing, just taking everyone else's advice and not having his own. Breslow, you can't say he isn't doing it his way. Agree with it or not. He's not just like, oh, Cora wants this guy. I don't think he fits, but I'm going to sign him anyways. Like, I'd rather him have balls and be like, no, I don't. We have Christian Campbell. We don't need a second baseman. I think the worst thing that they've done outside of the Casas shit is they've kind of sullied Devers' reputation a little bit with the fan base by being like, nope, he's demanding to play third. Wait till he makes his third error of the season. People are going to be like, this guy fucking told us he wants to play third. It's going to get thrust on him. I don't know why they would do that with their only guy signed over, say, 4 years. Like, how many guys are even on this roster in 4 years, just based off contracts right now? It's not a lot.
Yeah, I do think this front office is much more leaky than what you saw during the Heim Bloom era. Maybe you say because there's more going on now.
More.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I kind of look at this entire situation and the messaging from the Red Sox on what this right-handed bat, it feels confusing. It feels kind of like maybe they're not even sure exactly what they want. Craig Breslow goes, in a perfect world, we're getting an elite right-handed bat, right? Like, so many guys only fit into that. You could probably even argue, does Alex Bregman qualify as an elite right-handed bat at this point?
No.
He's probably really on that fringy territory on that. Definitely above average. But if you're talking someone like Nolan Arenado, he's nowhere fucking close. But you take that kind of quote and then you look at who they've been interested in. They never made an offer to Tyler O'Neill. They never made an offer to Teoscar Hernandez. Seemingly, they haven't made an offer to Alex Bregman, and they've been attached to two other guys in Gleyber Torres and Randall Grichuk. And say what you will, yeah, you believe in Christian Campbell. You go get Gleyber Torres. That doesn't, to me, sound like you're giving a huge tip of the cap to, Christian Campbell saying, we believe in this guy. You signed Gleyber Torres. He's playing second base for you. So it's like, what are you exactly aiming for in this kind of conversation? What do you think, Cole? You don't think he'd be playing second base?
No, I mean, he easily could DH here. And I know there's the whole Yoshida thing, but for 115, you can't have a guy A on 1 year be as bad defensively as he is the reason to not play Campbell or Vaughn for that matter at second base. Like, I don't know really what the Tigers are doing, basically ending Torkelson's career. Like, I don't know. That was a strange. They had Colt Keith. I don't know Colt Keith to be a bad defensive second baseman, but moving him to first and being like, we refuse to play Colt Keith at third, which he came up as a second or third baseman. Like, for a team that, like, I should trust them. They handle all their young guys so well last year. But I don't know really what they're doing. Torkelson went 1 overall. You know what I mean? He has control left. If they're really giving up on him, I'm kind of interested in Spencer Torkelson. With I trust our swing guys more than the Tigers, 1,000%.
They're willing to shake it up with everything, though. Like, you look at Jace Young, too, and I know he's not the most solid guy at third base overall, but they're essentially telling you what the Alex
He was
Bregman
a first-round pick, too, wasn't he?
Yes, another one. And, say what you will, he's held his own in the big league so far. It's not like he's been a disaster or anything like that. So they're willing to move a lot of those young pieces. But Cole Keith, what he did in the second half, man, he was a different animal. I know he was streaky, but he definitely looked like, the contract extension was going to be worth it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, You see the value of first baseman league-wide this year. It's 0. People do not give a fuck about Pete Alonso's sitting there. Like I wouldn't be shocked if he took a 1+1 at this point. That wouldn't shock me at all. And I wouldn't hate that as long as you could get out of it in exactly 1 year. Any longer than that, I would definitely hate it. But first baseman, they've been traded for middle relievers, not traded at all in the Red Sox case, even though we know they tried. It's weird that you would devalue your own guy like Cole Keith by moving him to first.
I think beyond that, the whole first base conversation is really interesting because you saw with Triston Casas, who was still, a young talent in the game, obviously coming off an injured year, but there just wasn't a lot of trade value for him. I know Nate Lowe has kind of been in a similar situation this offseason too. I don't know, Pete Alonso's market being dry, but I think you look here, if Masataka Yoshida wasn't here, it seems pretty possible. With him here and Triston Casas here, you're starting to get yourself in a spot again where it's like, unless you're willing to eat a prospect and send Yoshida's money, to just get him off the books and clear a roster spot, that's one thing. But I don't know. I think the fact that we haven't seen them attached to Alonso so far is pretty telling. But
Sure,
as a right-handed bat, if you're talking elite, I don't think he's much of a, significant improvement over Bregman. I just think they're different hitters, but he'd give you the pop that you lost with Tyler O'Neill, the guy who did hit the most homers for you last year, and a guy who, say what you will about how bad he was with runners in scoring position, he had a 132 OPS plus, acting like he was just some fucking, even Hunter Renfroe to some degree. He was a lot better than that. He may not have been clutch in certain situations, but when you post numbers like that, I don't care. You need to replace that in some capacity. There's people who are just like, yeah, the Red Sox don't think they even have to. Well, if Craig Breslow's telling you he wants to add an elite right-handed bat, what does that tell you? Clearly, they see some reason to balance the lineup. That's where their focus is. They have turned no more rotation. It's balancing the lineup. That's priority number 1 now.
Now that I am looking at the contracts for 4 years from now, Devers will still be here.
Yeah.
You've got an option year for Trevor Story.
Nope.
I see people starting to say, man, that option might be interesting if he has a big year this year. I'm like, please, let's get there before we start having those conversations.
Hoke will be gone.
Who's saying that?
Durant in his last year.
Twitter thread on it last week.
Cutter in his last year of ARB. Bayos deal still cooking along.
Yeah,
Rafaela's deal for dirt cheap. He's making 4 years from now. We're talking what, 2028? He's making $5.75 million.
Yeah,
that's why Bayos is what, 9? His AAV?
No, it jumps. He goes.
No, I know it does, but his AAV I think's 9.
Yeah.
Because
Which is
Rafael
unbelievable.
8.6 in 2027 to 16-ish in 2028 and 19 in 2029. So,
oh, you know what I wanted to mention? I feel stupid as hell because I didn't know this. I'm going to get suspended. But the Sox prospect guy said this. If you extend Campbell...
I thought you were about to shit on them.
No.
Yeah, that
you're about
was
to get
wild.
a perma ban.
Those fucking buffoons.
No. Do you know if you extend Roman Anthony and Christian Campbell, you don't get the comp pick before
you're not
opening
explaining
day?
it. Yeah, they have to debut before,
Yes.
Otherwise you don't get the pick.
I had no clue.
So that rule exists so that the Dodgers can't go sign Yamamoto and have him win Rookie of the Year. That's what it's for. But yes, they would technically screw themselves over if they waited one game. I think you could do it in the second inning, honestly. But if you waited one game after they debuted, you would be fine extending them and get the pick and all that.
Was it the day before opening day No. So it was April 10th last year that Ceddanne Rafaela signed his extension. I'm trying to remember off the top of my
unnecessary
list.
extension, perhaps in Red Sox history.
Couldn't agree more. But I think with Rafaela, I don't think
You
he was
disagree,
the top one.
Coley?
It just doesn't hurt them at all.
I know, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it wasn't necessary.
They should be doing that for everyone they think can contribute, because DFAing Rafaela cost them $0. I know it cost them actual money, but they would not notice it at all.
It's $6 million a year. That's why you're fine with him being a super utility player. But at the same time, did you have to do it? No. Ceddanne Rafaela, in my opinion, isn't the kind of talent you really need to extend for it.
No,
that.
but I do think
it's
that's
not like they broke the bank.
No, and that's
Right.
why it doesn't really matter.
I think why it's helpful is when they try and do it now with other guys throughout the system, they can point to 2 guys and be like, look, we have done this with our guys. It's something we're interested in. So if they don't do that, yeah, it makes way less sense. If they start doing that, no one cares. Like, again, it's tradable. Utility guys and number 5 starters are getting more money than superstars. They're at least getting paid. So that's only going to look less and less, especially as the CBT numbers go up.
And I'll add, if the only way to get a deal done with Campbell or Anthony is to get it done before the season, and there's not much of a conversation for that draft pick, I'd still be willing. If you can lock them into a cheap deal that makes sense for you, like the Churio deal, do it anyways, because it will be worth whatever that pick is. Him on cheap money, buying out those free agent years, 3 or 4, whatever it would be, that's a win.
The thing that I wanted to talk about that, well, not necessarily talk about, but mention was last episode, previous to the best of, we were talking about Yoshida and how it was crazy that we hadn't even heard any rumors about him getting traded. The podcast was up for 9 minutes, and here come the Yoshida trade rumors and reports and the teams that they had talked to and included him in deals and got rejected and all that. I still think maybe have to is too strong, but maybe not. I still think they have to find a way to move him. I just don't know how the roster flows. There are still things, and I think we've exhausted the Alex Bregman conversation. They still need a right-handed bat. There's a name we haven't mentioned yet, and I know that people are going to roll their eyes and be like, we can have the conversation. I don't think it's going to be Bregman. They need the right-handed bat. They need to move Yoshida because here comes Randall Grichuk.
Can I say it fucking makes me physically ill that the Red Sox were willing to attach Triston Casas to get Yoshida's money off the books? That's
also crazy.
Sickening
so
to
dumb.
even think about.
Oh, the Craig Breslow quotes, by the way.
Oh, please.
Like, hey, everyone, please don't say that we're shopping Triston Casas.
Yeah,
we're
please
not
don't put it in the
shopping
newspaper.
Triston
Yeah.
Casas. We are trying to attach him to a bad deal and just fucking get rid of him for basically nothing. The what we're getting back is salary relief in exchange for the cornerstone middle of the order bat. I don't want to call him a franchise player, but I mean a very highly touted prospect in our organization for 5 years now.
The second best hitter on your team.
We went from let's extend this guy to let's attach him to a bad contract and get rid of the money on this deal real quick. I don't understand it. I think we're now that these quotes are out there, I think they've, like, let's call a spade here. These quotes came out because the Red Sox tried to move Triston Casas by attaching him to Yoshida to get rid of that deal, by trying to trade him to get pitching, and teams were just not viewing him the way that the Red Sox expected that they would view him. So instead, now that it's out there, now that there's been leaks and now everyone's talking about it, well, guess what? Oh, we're not shopping Triston Casas. Why would we be doing that? We love him. He's our first baseman. He'll be the first baseman on opening day. Now that they've seen what the return would be or not be on Casas. So yeah, he'll be your first baseman. You better fucking pray for a healthy season of Casas, because if he ends up playing 50-something games next year, that's going to be an ugly winter for the relationship between team and player.
I will say, like, I think this is where the Rafael Devers thing comes into play too, where, you know, you're having these rumors and stuff come out that can damage the relationship. I feel like for Triston Casas, I'm not worried about him. I think he's a guy, when rumors are out there, just the way he is, I don't think it'll impact him. I'd be more concerned with Devers being upset and kind of hurt that they were willing to move him off at third base than Casas being upset about them mentioning him in rumors. Because it seems like the Red Sox were like, we want, you know, Brian Wu or Bryce Miller, and the Mariners were like, well, go fuck yourself. And then they were like, well, Luis Castillo will give you, if you know, and the Red Sox were like, yeah, we'll give you Casas, but you're taking Yoshida's money as well. Number one, the Mariners are stupid for not agreeing to that deal.
Another dumb.
Jerry DiPoto looking like a clown, but it's rare to see a trade where both GMs somehow end up looking pretty stupid for putting that on the table. One saying no and one even offering it.
Where everyone wanted to suck Breslow's dick for quote unquote reading the market right with the Nick Pivetta qualifying offer, which if he doesn't sign, and we don't even get the pick,
July 1st, baby.
That still wouldn't shock me. Just wouldn't shock me. Where he's read the market horribly wrong 2 times that I think really hurt them. One, thinking Blake Snell was going to wait for Juan Soto to sign after the winter he had just had. That Blake Snell deal looks better every time I look at it compared to what everyone else got. Now knowing Corbin Burns heavily preferred, not just I keep hearing the West Coast, only Arizona. He's doing what Bregman's doing to the Red Sox right now. Only Arizona had the balls to go sign him. That was the only difference there. Where he also read the market horribly wrong was value of first baseman coming into the offseason. That's where he thought Casas was going to be a huge chip, and the entire league just said, we don't really give a fuck. We'll put Luis Ariz at first. We don't give a shit who plays first base anymore. We are not looking for that type of player in today's game. And it fucked them. It fucked Casas. It fucked their plan. Like those 2 things stand out to me is like, they still don't really see the market.
So yeah, I think they still have done a really good job putting the rotation together, even with some of those misses. And I think overall, I think it's the cost of pitching, which is extremely expensive. And it points to why you should be more willing to invest financially in pitching right now than trying to trade for it. Because we know they were offering Willie Abreu in deals as well, and trying to kind of put these different packages together in a lot of ways. To me, that's where I just look at it and I think, use your financial muscle. You still haven't flexed it. You're $26 million before the first CBT threshold. It is such a waste of being the Boston Red Sox that you haven't used that to your advantage yet to build yourself up. And it's great to hand that money to Walker Buehler for 1 year, but when you need a right-handed bat and you're still starving for it, when there was maybe a chance, Max Fried seems a little more complicated, but Blake Snell fits that. And who knows, even Corbin Burns, with him agreeing to 6 years, 210, I would have liked to see them amongst the teams that just even put in an offer for 240. Like the Blue Jays did or whatever, just give it a shot.
He wouldn't have taken it.
I'm not saying he would, but I would have taken a shot at it still.
He wouldn't have taken the same number, but he would have taken an early opt-out, which he did take with Arizona.
That's where you play the David Price game where, hey, I know this isn't your number 1 pick, but I'm going to put the money on the table because we're that serious. And let's see, you're going to have to tell us no. And if you tell us no, cool. But I would like you to tell me no instead of not putting anything on the table.
Another note on Casas. Usually when players have trade rumors leak and you've got to read about how your team is actively trying to get you off the team, that's going to hurt some feelings with most players. Players have egos and they're sensitive. I don't worry about Casas at all in that regard. I think he just is. We obviously know he's a different kind of cat, but I think in that realm of my name is being mentioned in trade rumors and they're actually including me in deals where they're trying to offload a contract, most players would be like, fuck, man, like that's kind of disrespectful. Like I'm a little bit hurt by that. I don't think Casas is wired that way. I think he just kind of floats through life and is just like, yeah, you tell me where to show up. When spring training start? What team am I on? All right, cool. I'm going to go do my weird unconventional drills. I'm going to, if I'm in the lineup, I'll be out there. Awesome. Can't wait. Tell me what time the game starts and I'll be there. I just think that that's how he's wired. I don't think he's going to, like the Yankees, and Coley and I talked about this in a random phone call. The Yankees have a problem on their hands with Marcus Stroman. Oh. That man, now that they tried to give him away to the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Was it the Cardinals or someone else? It doesn't matter. They basically tried to give him away and didn't work out. The receiving team was like, Stroman, no, we're good. That man is going to be severely upset about that. He will pout about it, and it will be a clubhouse issue if they don't find a trade partner for him.
I don't think it'll affect his play or preparation or relationship with his teammates. I do think if he has the season, I think a lot of us believe he's going to have. I think if the Red Sox try and pivot and come back and try and offer him another insultingly low extension offer, he'll tell him to fuck off. I think that's where it'll show, not on the field, not on how he plays. But yeah, if they try and renegotiate and be like, hey, I think he'll be like, no, I'm all set.
Because I still feel like they're personally upset. I think they thought there was a real chance they were going to get a deal done with him last spring. And, Sam Kennedy's like, hey, we may have an extension or two to announce, right? Like right around opening day. After that, it ends up only being Rafaela. But for Casas, like, he's super realistic, whatever it may be. When he got to the end of spring training last year, he goes, yeah, I think I'm worth way more than that, and I'm not going to come down on my value. And then when he got to the end of the year and things went wrong, he goes, if I were the Red Sox, I wouldn't offer me anything, and I'm still not taking something that's less. I know what I'm worth, and I respect him for kind of holding that stance because he knows the special talent he's going to be. So yeah, let it play out for a year. And, when we're going into 2026 or whatever it may be, and everyone realizes how stupid a lot of these Triston Casas conversations were, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be very fucking exciting because he can laugh in everyone's face. Because the fact that people get mad over hitting drills and stuff that he's doing at this point, I love it. I think it is the best thing ever. He isn't even posting the videos and people are getting mad at him for it. It's crazy.
I mean,
he's not even posting them. And people are like, attention whore, Triston Casas, we got to see all the different workouts you're doing. It's freaking trainers posting them.
I don't react like that, but I think I do see some of the drills that he does, and it's like, is this working? Is this necessary? Yeah.
I have no idea.
I couldn't give two fucks what guys do in the offseason. I know like Duran was a guy where a few years ago, the Red Sox were sending him workouts and he was like, I'm going to do my own workouts. And it was a make or break year. I think it was going into 23 that this happened. Yeah, 23. He's like, I'm going to go do my own workouts, do my own thing. And then he came back and was unbelievable until he got hurt and then was an MVP candidate the next year. So it's something with the sport of baseball where it's no exact science. Everyone has a different batting stance. Everyone has a different way that they go about doing their things. I'm not going to critique Tristan. Like, it doesn't, I don't know. I don't understand how he bothers people so much. Casas. It's like, I think if he just goes out there, plays 145 games, is that an acceptable number to you guys?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
If he played 145 games next year, 500 plate appearances, whatever, and the OPS is north of 800, I don't want to hear fucking peep about, all the other stuff that people get riled up about.
I just think it's funny to act like, he comes into the season and he's a mess or he's not right. Before he got hurt last year at a 132 WRC plus before the rib injury. Mm-hmm. That would have been better than his rookie season. That's 132. That's very good for any hitter. But, that's a middle of the order bat. That's what you dream on with Triston Casas. He had 6 homers and, 90 plate appearances or whatever it was. So we're talking 30 home runs at that rate. If he's even just that hitter, you're thrilled with Triston Casas and you're not looking to trade him a year from now.
Yeah. One of the Breslow quotes that was worded, he's a very smart man. So I feel like no word is said without intent. The quote of, I think in a perfect world, we're getting elite level production from a right-handed bat out of the middle of the lineup. But I also think that production could come from a number of places. There are guys internally that may be able to take a step forward, and we're certainly also engaged in conversations for players that aren't yet in the organization. So the only elite level right-handed bat that he could be talking about from outside the organization, at least free agency, is Bregman. I'm not going to read into it and be like, oh, they're talking to Toronto about Vladdy. I don't believe that that's the case.
No.
Seiya Suzuki?
No. I think that they're talking about Christian Campbell. Like, he's talking about Christian Campbell. Be like, yeah, we've got a guy who at every level last year that he progressed to had an OPS over 1,000. He could be the guy. He could be the right-handed bat. That is so much. Let's just throw out the part where he talks about outside the organization. He said internally, we think we have an elite right-handed power bat. Who the fuck else could he possibly be talking about besides Christian Campbell? And I'm not saying that he can't be that guy. It's a lot to put on him, who has not seen a pitch at the major league level. If you're expecting him to be the internal option, elite right-handed power bat, and not even power bat, just call him an elite right-handed bat, middle of the order bat. That's a lot to put on him. And I don't think that you can sit back and say, yeah, this is what we did. That's not a plan. that's your safety net. If we don't end up trading for or signing a right-handed elite production power bat, then we have this guy. So we're under no circumstances are we not going to have the bat. It's just a matter of do we get it from the outside or not. And it doesn't feel like that guy's coming from the outside, because if it's Randall Grichuk, that's a platoon bat. That's not a fucking 3-4 hitter in a Red Sox lineup.
That's where you start getting into like the Taylor Ward conversation, right? Like, I want to get excited and dream about Carlos Correa. That's the one that would get me excited, because I think he's
Can
even
I
a better
interrupt you
fit
for a
than
second,
Bregman.
T? Is that because I saw it on Twitter? Is that literally just people listening to Coley and being like,
yes,
Correa? That's all it is. There's nothing else to that outside of people listening to the 10 and hearing Coley's, it's not a theory. It's not a suggestion. His fantasy. Yeah. His fantasy plan includes Carlos Correa, and now like Red Sox Twitter's talking about Carlos Correa, but that like there's no comment. Like, that's not happening. Like, that's not an actual thing.
The Red Sox haven't been attached directly, but the Twins were listening on Carlos Correa at the winter meetings. Him and Pablo Lopez. That was the report. But it was said that they would need like a legit haul to get it done. And say what you will, Correa's contract.
You want a haul for Carlos Correa?
It gets sticky, right? But if you look at the back end of that deal, low key, it is very interesting for a Red Sox team that may not want to get locked in. Four options, and they're rather cheap, which is
and they're vesting.
Yes,
like he
depending
has to
on plate
earn
appearances.
Yeah.
But it's something like 25, then 20, then 15, then 10, I believe, the last year. Like,
but does he make like 35 next year?
It's
his
like
AAV
32,
is like
33.
33 over the next 4 years, which is fine.
If he's healthy, he's worth that.
That's what Bregman's asking for. He's just also asking for 7 years.
I don't think he gets 30. I think he gets like 27 times 8.
No, I don't disagree. But I mean, Boris came out, and I know this was the beginning of the offseason, so we were looking in the Machado neighborhood, and everyone rightfully said no.
Um,
that also was not a thing. I can tell you.
No, I know. Boris said
that was more Ken Rosenthal doing his.
That wasn't even
my
like
best guess.
Yeah, he didn't even publicly say that.
No, I know.
Yeah. But either way.
But for Correa, right? Like,
I
you
just
talk this year, it's 37. Next year, it's 32, 31, 31. If you're the Red Sox and you don't want to hand out a 6 or 7 year deal to Alex Bregman, you can look at Carlos Correa, who's a year younger, who, while he only played, 80 games last year, he was raking. He looked incredible at the plate, but he's had plantar fasciitis, or however you say it, in each one of his feet the last 2 seasons.
Fasciitis.
The ankle medical is still there. Thank you. He is kind of the safer option and probably the better player the next couple years. And if you think he's not going to last to his 34 or 35 year, point of his career, you can get out of that deal much sooner than you could for Bregman.
Yeah, easy.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm not saying I wouldn't welcome it or be excited about it. I'm just saying that I saw the discourse on Twitter and I wanted to know, did that simply come from Coley coming up with the idea randomly? Or was there something to it? It's really just from Coley?
I think it's that, and I also think the Carlos Correa discourse from the last couple off seasons as well. There was a smaller portion of the fan base, I put my hand in that as well, that was very pro going after a guy like Carlos Correa.
Oh, yeah, same. I would have been thrilled.
I'm a big Carlos Correa guy. And I think for Cora, like, if he was going to sit there and be poetic about Alex Bregman, he would go just as hard for Carlos Correa, if not harder. And he brings that kind of edge that you talk about with Bregman, that's like that leadership. We all remember, check the watch back in 2021. But you add in that, he doesn't strike out a ton. You're getting power. You're getting better defense. Like,
and
you can see the vision why it would make sense. It would just, and he could play third. You could plug him in a few different spots.
But I would like to play him at third.
His health would be the biggest thing.
Specifically because of the health. Exactly. Like, if you put him at second, he's still exposed to those up the middle places where he does have to rely on longer strides and putting a lot of pressure on his plantar fasciitis. Like, that is something you'd have to consider. You have Campbell. They clearly like him, as well they should. If you have Campbell and Correa second and third, like, if Story goes down, you have multiple options that none of them are Rafaela. Like, you can fix that.
I think that for me is where things get a little uncomfortable with, hey, we have the internal options. And I feel like he's talking about Trevor Story too a little bit, saying, hey, like, we get a healthy Trevor Story. He should get back to hitting 20 homers. We'll see. I didn't love a lot of the metrics when he had come back at the end of last year because he just wasn't hitting the ball very hard. But I don't know. You need to find someone. You can't just put it all on Christian Campbell and expect him to carry you. I do think Casas and Story being healthy will help make up for some of what not having O'Neill was, but he was your best hitter against left-handed pitchers last year as well. He was the best hitter in baseball, I believe, besides Aaron Judge against left-handed pitching last year. So, like, not replacing that in any capacity just seems irresponsible to me. You need to find a way, and if Breslow is making the point that we want to add an elite right-handed hitter, you need to do something.
Let's just say, right, the Red Sox, this is again hypothetical. Let's say the Red Sox don't sign. Let's say they're done. Let's say they don't do another thing. They don't end up getting a back into the reliever. They don't get the righty bat. They're like, Christian Campbell's the bat. That's the righty bat. How are you feeling going into spring training? Are you, because I'm going to be fucking rip shit. And you know what? This reminds me. I have fucking had it with the people on Twitter that think that like the people that you carry water for the Red Sox organization, you work for NESN. I don't fucking work for NESN. That is a freelance side job. It's freelance. I don't fucking work for NESN. I can say whatever I want, and when the time comes when I am very upset that the Red Sox haven't done anything, I'll speak on it. But I'm not one of those people that's just gonna outright like have a fucking temper tantrum when there's still time on the clock. Bregman's still out there. There's trades to be made. I don't understand the people that are like, you won't say you're defending the organization and the owners. And you're one of them now. You got your balls clipped and this and that. It's not the time. It's not the time to flip out. If we go into spring training, if spring training starts tomorrow and the Red Sox are where they're at right now, yeah, you'll fucking hear it from me. Just like you heard it from me last spring training. And I was the only motherfucker here that was being negative. I was pissed. I was like, this is not enough. This team is not going to, like, I'm not going to be one of the fans that's like, oh, give them a chance. Like, let's just wait and see. Like, no, like I knew they weren't going to be good. I knew they weren't going to be good last year. Like I was off by one fucking game picking their record. And this year, if that happens again, like, sure, there are things to be excited about. I'm not going to like totally shit on the Red Sox parade. Like, yes, I'm excited to watch Garrett Crochet. Yes, I'm intrigued to see what Walker Buehler we're going to get. Yes, I'm excited to see if Tanner Houck can repeat his success or take it one step further. Those are all things that I'm excited to see. But when I look at the roster, the position players, the one word that comes to mind is inadequate. This is not a Red Sox team yet. Like, they don't have, like, yes, they have Rafael Devers. Where is the fucking murderers row 1 through 4? Where's the lineup that, and yeah, they were what, 9th in runs scored last year? They were a top 10 offense. Sure. But did it feel like it? Like, did you tune in to be like, man, like, you know, those 3-4 hitters, really tough to get through them. No, like Rafi came to the plate for half the year looking like he was walking off the beaches of Normandy.
It's also a year where Connor Wong overperformed for a majority of the year, a year that he's never going to repeat again. A guy that you were putting in the middle of your lineup regularly in the second half. Guy you were platooning Triston Casas for.
Yes, like I need a healthy season from Casas. I need Story to have one fucking healthy year since signing the deal. Devers, same thing. Like, we're talking about health with a lot of guys. Willier, you know, can he repeat? Duran, can he repeat? The rookies, you're putting a lot on them. There's a lot of question marks. I'm not like, again, I do think that it's pathetic as a Red Sox fan that grew up in the era of Red Sox baseball that I got to grow up in. Yes, I'm spoiled. Yes, you know, I have seen a lot of success. I've lowered the bar. Like, I think that that's a little pathetic, but I have lowered the bar. I'm not talking World Series. I just want to make the playoffs. Is that so much to fucking ask? Like, just to get in and see what happens. 2018, when JD Martinez signed that deal, I was like, this is a monster Red Sox team. This team is going to fuck people up. And they did. And it was awesome. And maybe we sold our souls for that season. Fine. But can I at least get a team that has a winning record? Like, that's it. The bar is so goddamn low. And I just think when I'm looking at what Craig Breslow has said, what Sam Kennedy has said, the expectations have not been met. And yes, I am frustrated, I guess silently, because I have all these people up my ass saying that I'm carrying water for the team and I'm not criticizing. It's because I'm being patient. I'm trying to be patient. I'm sitting here waiting for, like obviously we were very excited when the Red Sox traded for Garrett Crochet. That was a ballsy move. It was a necessary move. It was the first big move that they've made since signing JD Martinez, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Story,
I mean, it's the
Story was a big move.
It was, but it almost like
your
no
biggest
disrespect,
trade since Chris Sale.
But even like the Story move, it felt like a complimentary piece. Because even when they signed Story, we were like, oh fuck, like did they just sign Bogart's replacement?
Right.
Like,
exactly.
It wasn't there. That was not a let's fucking go moment. That was like, oh cool, like he's good. But oh shit, does that mean Bogarts is gone in a year? Like
right.
It wasn't complete excitement. Garrett Crochet was complete excitement. So yeah, like at no part of me, and I will double and triple down. Nesson doesn't tell me what to say. The fucking Red Sox don't tell me what to say. I say whatever I want. I say what I feel, and it was not, and we still are not at an appropriate time for me to go scorched earth. And when that time comes, I will be the loudest, I will be the most obnoxious, and I will be the angriest. Like you cannot exceed my passion for this team. You can only match it. That's it. No one cares more. It's life and death to me. It's all I care about. This is all I got is Red Sox baseball and the Section 10 podcast. Those are the things that I fucking care about. And when they don't put forth the effort, and when I feel like they're not trying their best to win a World Series, that upsets me greatly. That no part of me is complacent in it. No part of me is like, oh, we've won enough. Or my career has gotten to a point where I'm okay with taking my foot off the gas. No, my last few days, you know what my last few days have been? Trying to figure out how the fuck I'm going to go to London in late April and early May and still work and still at midnight watch the fucking Red Sox games and figure out the 6-hour difference to be able to still do the podcast. Not take the time off. Like I'll still be there, be present, enjoy the time with my family and all that. But like, do I sleep in cycles? Do I sleep 3 hours at a time so I can still do the podcast and watch the games and just not care about the sun in the sky and what time of day it is in London? That's been the last few days. Coley?
The show will still be here if you took like one off.
Don't care. Won't happen. I've never taken a show off. Never will. Never will. I'm getting fucking surgery a week from today. I will be fucked up and on this podcast. I will not miss a fucking show. I will not miss a game. As long as I have vision and hearing and the ability to take in baseball and a voice to speak into a microphone, I will not miss a show. I will not miss a game. That's how much I care. Don't tell me otherwise.
Are you expected, Jared? If I recall last year when you were going through it for the first time really bad and you were stuck on the couch and you like couldn't move. Remember when you did the podcast like that?
Yeah.
Are you expected to be like that post-surgery?
Yeah, it's going to be like that for a while. And I fucking took my podcast equipment, brought it downstairs on the couch, had to shut the camera off because I was in so much fucking pain. Yeah.
Mid-interview, right? I can't remember who we had on.
It was Will Fleming.
Yep, there we go.
Yep, we had Will Fleming on. Was that name redacted? Yeah.
Yes, I remember there was a point like 30 minutes where it was just like me and Will while you were like fighting for your life.
Well, I had to leave. I was like throwing up.
Yeah.
I had like the tweet last night or whatever it was about like some dude like left like a dickhead comment on my Instagram and I just bodied him and people were like, oh, well, it seems like it did bother you. Nothing bothers me outside of people questioning how much I care, questioning my authenticity of like, oh, you have the Nesson thing. So now you're, John Henry's errand boy. That's what bothers me. You can say whatever you want about my appearance. I've heard it all. Anything. You can say anything about me. I've heard it all. As of January 1st, that's when I started my blog. I've been doing this. I've been a personality on the internet for 19 fucking years. Since I was 16 years old, I have been subjected to mean, rude things on the internet. It doesn't bother me. What does bother me is when people think that I don't care like I used to. I've never cared more. I've never wanted to win the next one more. I've never wanted to experience a playoff run more than this next one coming. I want it for T. I want it for this generation of Section 10 fans to see what that's like when, because a lot of people listening, they either tuned in after 21 or whatever. Like we didn't, I guess we did do a live show in 21, but we didn't do anything for the playoffs. I want to experience all that. It's not like being in a band where you write an album and you go on tour and people show up. For us to be able to do that and get people really, really excited, the Red Sox have to be good. It's been a while since they were good. It's been a while since I'm not going to say that they're not relevant, but like to have that passion and that fire, that go back and watch the wild card in 2021 and listen to that crowd and tell me that the fans are not dying for the Red Sox to be good again. There was Patriots fatigue, whatever it was, 9 straight AFC championship games or whatever it was. Eventually, I feel like those fans got complacent and there was just the AFC championship game and there was the Super Bowl. Those are the 2 games that they could get their dick hard for. With the Red Sox, that first playoff game at Fenway Park, when they get back there, is going to be a madhouse because we've put up with so much shit. The Mookie Betts trade, the losing seasons, everything that we've had to fucking deal with. I get it. No one outside the fan base is going to feel bad for us. No one. If you're non-Red Sox fans listen to this show, they might roll their eyes. No one's going to feel bad for you. You've seen 4 World Series titles. Fine. Don't feel bad for me. I don't give a fuck if you feel bad for me. We feel bad for us. We Red Sox fans feel bad for us because we had this lifestyle and it's been taken away from us. Like John Henry, spending the money, coming in, cleaning up Fenway Park, monster seats, renovations, free agents galore, trades, superstars, World Series titles, playoff runs. We had it all. And now we don't. We are the redheaded stepchild. We are the piece of the portfolio that he no longer cares about. That is frustrating. That pisses me off. When you put me as someone that defends that, are you fucking kidding me? All I want is for the Red Sox to win. I want them to go back to the playoffs. I want to have a live show again where people are fucking going crazy in the crowd. It's beneficial to us when the Red Sox are good. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's more money involved for us when the Red Sox are good. Life is better. I'm happier. Like this, it's the idea that that's not something that I would be fucking craving is insane to me. The Red Sox have been my life forever. They will always be my life. So that's all I want to say about that. But again, it's not time to go scorched earth. They're not there yet. There's still players out there. There's still trades to be made. There's still players that they can sign. That's so when the time comes when you show up to spring training and they haven't made the moves. And I feel like last year when the team was inadequate and I feel like the effort was lackluster to make the roster better or that money could have been spent that wasn't spent, that's when I'll get upset. But for right now, I will defend my own honor by saying, if you think that I carry water for the Red Sox organization, sometimes that's true. Like when the whole Apple Watch or the fucking whatever, the cheating scandal, when Evan Drellick came for the crown, yeah, I stood on the wall and I defended the Red Sox. I defended the organization and I will do that. But when I feel like you're not trying and you're not invested, well, guess what? I will then stand on the other side of that wall with the rest of the fans that want to see a winning team again in Boston, and those arrows will be flying the other way. Call it.
You know
what I'm saying?
I do think your approach of waiting, like, say what you will, if you make one move, it's call it Seiya Suzuki or Taylor Ward, and then you sign Kirby Yates.
Stop saying that the name Taylor Ward around me and my family.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be offensive, but it feels so Red Sox. It feels like the next version of
It's the same fucking thing they did last year.
Exactly.
That
Another
I'm tired of. If
O'Neill.
you're gonna keep doing that shit, I'm gonna be sick of it. Like there are plenty of things they can do that aren't that. Like that's That's exactly what Jared's saying. Like that's like, oh, we'll fix it in the middle of the season if we're good enough. They keep doing that, and it feels like they just keep kicking the can down a never-ending road.
Yeah, and that's where I am with the Red Sox right now, where if you're going to come out here and say that your goal is to win 90 to 95 games, we want to win the American League East. Listen, we're in a different place than we've been. It's not about the future anymore. We've turned the dial to the present. Well, cool. I want the roster to reflect that. And maybe it takes a week into spring training. Who knows how things play out. But when it comes to opening day, the roster better reflect a 90 to 95 win team. When you have all the assets you had financially, when you have what you had in the farm system, there's no excuse. You cannot enter the year with a glaring hole on your roster. If you do, it's unacceptable at this point in time, not only based off of what you expect yourself to do, but where you are in this kind of timeline. There can't be Christian Arroyo in right field. It can't be your starting rotation is sickening and has multiple guys that, couldn't be that front of the rotation type. And now they've done that for the rotation to get it where it needs to go. Well, cool. Now you need to supplement your lineup, make sure the bullpen has the depth it needs. But if you're going to talk and set your kind of expectations at that, the roster needs to reflect that. You need to get the job done. It doesn't take much. While there's two things they need to do to really get themselves where they need to be, it's possible, and they have too many pathways to do it. There's no excuse. Even with the free agent mark dwindling, or if they don't want to hand out one of those contracts, cool. Then you can go make a trade. I just wish you'd use the money you had at your disposal to get it done. Take advantage of it.
I think extending the moves they've already made seem to indicate they do want to contend this year. You don't give Walker Buehler a 1 year, $21 million deal just for him to reset his own value to go win elsewhere. Like that doesn't make any sense. Even the Crochet trade, as much as he's young and this quote unquote controllable arm, until he's extended, it is a short-term move. Obviously that's not the goal, but until that contract signed, it right now it's a 2-year window you've given yourself. Obviously you've got the prospects coming up, but just go finish the offseason. Like to me,
it's right there.
Tanner Scott's still sitting there. Jeff Hoffman's still sitting there. Even like Carlos Estevez. I know he's not as sexy as those two names, but you go get I've been looking at the bullpen just because I'm so bored waiting on this right-handed bat that may or may not ever come. I think you could make a legitimate argument the bullpen's worse than last year. Even if Whitlock comes back, like you could, as bad as it ended on the Kenley front, they haven't added a pitcher better than Kenley to the bullpen. They have not done that.
You don't love Chappie?
Chappie's like fine. Like if they brought back Kenley, I know people would be like furious, but
there's just no way.
No, I know it's not even being discussed. But what I'm saying is, if you had Chapman and Kenley, I could be like, yeah, I could see that being pretty effective for a year. Again, it's not a long-term solution. But it also doesn't seem like they want long-term solutions to their bullpen, which is also infuriating. If they add the money to either go just change course on Tanner Scott, and maybe his market's come down. I'm sure he was asking for hater money, like McAdam keeps saying.
Yeah, 4 years,
maybe that's come
AV.
down to what's actually was predicted, which was like 460, 470, something like that. Then if he signs for that elsewhere, I'll be furious. If Hoffman signs for something reasonable and we don't do that, furious. Like that.
Did you see Hoffman today? Clay Holmes. He wants the Clay Holmes contract. That's 3 years, 38.
Right.
That sign it. What is the conversation there? That should be the easiest layup in the entire world. You're willing to hand out 232 to Kenley Jansen a couple years
ago. But does he want to start?
So he's still seemingly, it's on the table, but I think the farther you go into the offseason, the less likely it seems.
No, for sure.
And hey, if you want to talk to Hoffman, guess what? Maybe not this year, but next year there's going to be 2 guys coming out of the Red Sox rotation. I'm not telling you I'm going to put him in the rotation, but hey, to sign the contract, we'll revisit it. How many times
can you say hey in a single sentence?
A lot. But if you get to that point in 2026 and he wants a chance to start, sure, we'll have the conversation in spring training. But, if you want to get ready during the offseason and try it out, cool. But that seems like such a layup. But to lose Kenley Jansen and Chris Martin, that is significant. Now, I hope Liam Hendricks should be able to replace one of them. Maybe it's not all the way to Kenley, but bare minimum, it better be Chris Martin. And then Whitlock, I think, is going to be your multi-inning arm. I think you're going to see him get 2 to 3 innings, but he's also going to sit for 2 days like he did in 2021.
I think the mistake would be putting all your eggs in the basket of Liam Hendricks being your closer.
It's dangerous.
Crazy.
I still think that you're going to get something of note from Liam Hendricks, but having it just be like, yeah, you haven't pitched in 2 years. You're coming off a major surgery. You are getting the ball in the 9th inning with a 1-run lead on opening day. It's again, we've said this before. It's a lot to ask of the guy. It's a lot to ask of a lot of the fucking guys on this team to do what we're asking them to do.
Who else?
Connor Wong being the starting catcher. There's no Kyle Teal waiting in the wings anymore.
Carlos Narvaez, baby.
You've got this fucking guy. You've got this guy being like, oh yeah, no, he was great in winter ball, so he's more than capable of playing for the Boston Red Sox and having a significant role. Triston Casas, a lot to ask for him to stay on the field. Same thing with Trevor Story.
That shouldn't
Rafael
be.
Devers, a lot to ask of him to play third base at an adequate level. Second base, you're asking a rookie. If it is Christian Campbell out of spring training, yeah, can you play 150 games for us at a position where you don't really, it's not like he doesn't really have a position. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, like that he can play so many defensive positions, but like he doesn't have a home. It's like, yeah, this is going to be your home now.
Go be an MVP, Jarren Duran again. Do it again, please.
Yeah,
Duran is probably the least worried I am about any player on the roster. Like I feel like with his skill set, it's not like I don't think you can't fluke what he does on the field. It's all speed influenced.
Sure, but there's a world where, what was he last year, Tyler? 8 WAR?
Yeah,
like 8.7 or something like that. 8.7. Like there's a world where he's a 5.8 this year, which is still an all-star.
Oh, I'd love that. I would take it. Sure.
No, it'd be great, but it would be a step back. So you'd have to find, and if we think Anthony's going to do it, we think Campbell's going to do it. But you talk about Tyler O'Neill, I think they're like, all right, Casas will make up a lot of that. Devers will stay healthy based off nothing, but that's what we're projecting. Duran stepping back, they would need to find that production from somebody. Even if he's still an all-star caliber player, he could still have a step back.
You probably hope the rotation at this point in time can carry more innings and maybe help you out a little bit on that front. Garrett Crochet being the high-end talent as well.
That's why you can't. You need to replace Tyler O'Neill.
2.5 FWAR last year.
The fact that you do not let Yoshida hit against lefties, you don't let Willier hit against lefties. They sneaky made Casas a platoon guy as well. Like he's not in against like where is the right-handed production coming from if it's not from the outside?
You've also gotten like the best possible outcome for Rev Snyder. Like expecting him to just keep banging like this is crazy.
The guy was fucking retired.
Injured. Dude, his toes falling off. Something's wrong. Like you watch him over the course of a season, his body's breaking down every year.
Sure.
They had to talk this man out of retirement to play for the team this year. And that's, and I love Rob Refsnyder. Great guy. Very solid player. But
clubhouse
again,
leader.
A fourth or fifth outfielder on a good team. And that's the right-handed bat that's going to solve all of our problems.
Can I ask this question, because it doesn't get brought up? Like, he's on the 40. We traded for him last offseason. I don't hear like I'm not even saying fans. I don't hear a single plan for him. Why isn't he being considered for left? Like, I don't understand putting Campbell in left really at all. Hold on, Tyler. I don't understand putting Campbell in left at fucking all. I understand Anthony's coming if they don't want to start the year with him. You need a righty bat. Everyone keeps projecting like Teoscar left field. Everyone's projecting left fielders. Campbell, I think you need to keep at second, especially when Story goes down. We know that's going to happen. If it's for a week, if it's for the whole season like it always is, putting Campbell in left and then bring him back to play short, assuming they don't do it with Rafaela again, doesn't make a lot of sense. Keep him in the infield. If you need to slide him over, that's a much easier adjustment to make. Vaughn wasn't even that good defensively at second. That's why I'm more inclined to be like, Campbell has the higher upside at second. Is Vaughn going to produce and hit like Manny Ramirez or Jason Bay? Fucking never. Absolutely never. But you did trade for his bat, even if it's just a contact bat. So why not at least, if you're still looking for righties, have him to try it? Like, just try.
He's got to show me something in spring training. And I know that sounds
but he was
stupid.
good in September when he came up.
You almost sound like a non-ball knower if you say some shit like that. Like, let's see what he looks like in spring training. How many times have we seen guys look like all-star MVP candidates in spring training and they fucking stink once
2013 JBJ, baby.
And it never gets any better.
I don't
know. I don't know like what needs to happen with Vaughn, but to Coley's point that he's mentioned in the past, like Vaughn is young. He's not like when Jarren Duran entered the 2023 season and it was make or break for him, he was 45 years old, like it wasn't like he was 22 And it's like, all right, sink or swim. And if you don't swim, we can just send you back down. You can get some reps. He was at a make or break point in his career where if it's not working out now, it's probably never going to work, at least in this organization. Like, we maybe figure it out somewhere else. Someone else can unlock something. With Vaughn, yeah, there's definitely time for him to unlock something, figure something out, and find a place within this roster. Find a place, whether it is experimenting with a corner outfield position, because I think it was Chipper Jones was the guy that at the time of the trade was like, yeah, good bat, can't feel for shit, good kid though. I don't expect great defense from him at second base. I am open to trying him at other positions, just if the bat comes alive. Like that's what he was always supposed to be, was a bat that was at least an average, like give me a 0 defensive run saved. I'll take that with a 800 OPS, something in that region, 125 OPS plus. Give me that. Do I think he's capable? Yeah, but I think he's one of those guys where he has to have consistent playing time in order to get in a groove and unlock that. I just don't know that he has the opportunity to get that consistent playing time here, because Campbell's going to get the look over him at second base. Like, he's not winning that battle.
I think they will battle
it's a position
it out.
He's never played.
They will battle it out. And Campbell, like last year, obviously he was coming into spring training with a bunch of tweaks that the team had to make so he could lift the ball more. So Campbell didn't get it. Like, the craziest part about Campbell is he did scuffle a little at the beginning of last year, and then he stopped missing baseballs entirely and was the best baseball player on like the planet maybe for the rest of the year. So I wouldn't be shocked if Vaughn had a better spring and won the job outright. That wouldn't surprise me.
I think that's the conversation, though, when you start forgetting about Vaughn Grissom in this equation, and you shouldn't completely forget about him, because even when injuries pop up, there's a role for him to play. But yeah, if Christian Campbell's taking second base, say you're bringing in some form of right-handed bat here, that's not going to only complicate the conversation, but your outfield, right? Whether it is Roman Anthony coming in, maybe it's opening day, maybe it's a little later. You still have Ceddanne Rafaela on this team, right? Do they look at Ceddanne Rafaela's defense and center and say, simply, even if we don't bring another bat in and we put Duran in left, we think we're going to get more out of potentially having Rafaela out there in the outfield,
sure,
with his defense doing whatever, and then Campbell in this scenario playing second and hitting. I think that's why this past season was so rough for Vaughn Grissom, because really it was a true platform year for him to prove himself and, at least say, I may play a pre-2024 Jerks and Profar role. Give me 450 plate appearances, left, third, second, mix me back and forth. I still think that's ultimately the most likely role for him. But even that's going to be, a battle for him when you have a guy like Romy Gonzalez last year who went mash lefties, showed he can play multiple positions, speedy as fuck, one of the fastest guys on the team for a Red Sox team that, was trying to get into that. You have David Hamilton, who's part of that infield mix too, right? Like, to me, I'm worried for Vaughn Grissom whether that opportunity is going to be there. And if Christian Campbell comes out in camp and dominates, then I think you start to look at it. And for Grissom, who was the youngest player on the Red Sox last year, I know people don't remember that. You start to get into the point, maybe it's better to move him in a deal that, opens an opportunity for him somewhere else, or you like him that much as depth. I feel like, unfortunately, timing is not on his side right now. But he looks good this offseason. He looks strong.
But they also, they can't punt on him. They just can't. Like, David Hamilton
don't give up on him.
Was not supposed to, and he's lefty. Like, that's where it's like he's a right-handed bat. In his best year, he's going to hit like 15 home runs. You know what I mean? Like, he's not coming here for power. But if all we care about is balance, there you go. You get Campbell at second, you get Vaughn in left. Now you've got multiple righties, and they both project, even at their worst, to hit better than Rafaela. If Durant can be the defender Tyler tweets about every day in center for a full season, that's fine. Like, I don't plug and play Rafael. Willier's not going to hit against lefties, so you will have plenty of playing time for Rafaela and right.
But shouldn't Willier hit against lefties at this point?
No shit, he should.
If you want him to take the next step in his career, this is it.
No lefty hitter, none of them, is ever going to improve against lefties if they never get the chance. If they never get a shot to even attempt to get hits off lefties, why would they ever improve? Why? Like, when would they even get the chance to be better?
That's it. And that's why like them going back with Triston Casas last year infuriated me because they waited way too long before they had stopped platooning him the previous year. We were well into the summer when he was already one of the best hitters on the team. And they still were like, you know what? Take a breather today. We're going to sit you. I still remember that Chicago White Sox series in the summer. But eventually they have let that go with a lot of these guys. Even with Jarren Duran in 2023, they were doing it. So it's like, all right, give Wilyer Abreu the chance. I think he earned it. Guy went. He was at a above average league hitter last year. Gold Glove defense in right field. What's the best way to up that trade value? Show he can hit both sides. Then you got a fucking serious piece. You can move at the deadline if it's time for, we need to make room for Roman Anthony or whatever it may be. I don't think people are forgetting about Vaughn Grissom. I think the reality is there's more exciting guys and higher ceiling guys on the horizon right now. And sometimes it's as simple as you missed your chance. You missed your best shot. But who knows? If Campbell comes in and struggles and doesn't look like himself, there you go. You play into it. I just think Christian Campbell's going to have one of those spring trainings where
I don't disagree. I mean, you
he
don't
goes
find a
nuts.
bigger Campbell believer than me. I also don't think it's super unfair to be like, yeah, this is the guy. I think they should, instead of having him as the plan B, they should have been talking about him all off season so that people aren't like upset by Christian Campbell, because now they're kind of setting him up to be rookie year Pedroia.
Yes.
Pedroia had a bad first month. People wanted Cora to play over Pedroia. That is probably the most likely thing. And then Campbell's going to rake the whole last 4 months of the season.
One of my buddies from home never lets me forget that I was like, Alex Cora is the guy. Pedroia, this guy stinks. Have you watched him? He can't hit. He's a little guy. Like Alex Cora, great defender, contact hitter. Like, what are we doing here? Like, get Cora out there. Every time I see him, it could be like we could go 4 or 5 fucking years without seeing each other. We'll run into each other and be like, yeah, remember how you wanted Cora over Pedroia at second base in 2007? Like, yeah, I do.
That's a tough one.
I do.
Listen, we get things wrong. That wasn't an unpopular opinion, by the way. Many people were saying that.
Or, you know what, Coley? What if, I mean, both answers are right. What if they just fucking left the AC out there to cook and he had an amazing season? You don't know that. You can't just say
trade.
Like, you were
Pedroia.
right. You were right to go with Pedroia, sure. But you also could have been right to stick with AC. What if he had a great year? You don't know.
When I used to play MLB The Show back in the day, I would always, rest in peace, I'd put Julio Lugo on the bench and I'd start Alex Cora at shortstop.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the man back then, too. Loved him. He was a winner, proven winner. Great clubhouse guy. You know?
Gonna make hell of a manager one day.
I was going to say the coach. I'd hope so.
Gonna make a hell of a
Guy
manager
stinks in the
someday.
clubhouse. Great on the field. Awful. And
Awful in the clubhouse. People hated him. No one agreed with him. Terrible opinions. Got a no ball. Future World Series champion manager in his first year, by the way.
we might get to fire him and rehire him again.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he
I
gets
wish I could
fired, he'll be replacing Breslow in 3 years. I'd put my money on it.
Maybe. I wish I could fire a blue moon into my mouth. Like I did on New Year's Eve.
How many?
6.5. It was a 6.5 hour reception, so I drank responsibly and paced myself. Yeah, it was like I said. There was a lot of baseball's dead fans there. There were definitely Section 10 fans there. Yeah, it was cool. It was funny because I tweeted about the like, oh, I have like a wedding tonight, New Year's Eve, blah blah blah, and people were like texting each other, being like, "Is it the wedding that we're going to tonight? Like, are we gonna fucking see this dude at the wedding?" And yeah, there were a bunch of 10 fans there, which made me feel nice and at home. Even more so when they were walking up with blue moons and we were cheersing to some ice cold blue moons. That's the way that I brought in the new year. I had in one hand blue moon, the other hand handful of train's ass. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were gonna say tits.
No.
Guy can't
Why do you
stop
keep
thinking
talking
about
about
her
them? Why do you keep?
I just thought that's what you were gonna say. I thought that's where you were going with it. Whoa, come on.
This guy's bad.
This guy
crazy.
can't stop talking about him.
I didn't know who's talking
That's
about
crazy.
him.
That's crazy.
On the noggin. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
No one is talking about anything.
They're triple D's, T.
I have no interest in the subject.
Oh, I'm just telling you. I mean, obviously you keep bringing it up.
D train.
Oh.
Boom sauce.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
I can't believe
was,
you brought that up in the middle of an ad. No
Oh
less.
my god, yeah. Blue Moon's gonna be like, wait,
we were
is
talking
this guy,
ass, pal.
Is this guy
Blue
a
Moon's an
liability?
ass company.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Think about Full Moon is talking about showing ass,
Oh!
not honks.
Right. Oh, by the way, I'm probably this weekend. I'm probably going to spend some time revamping the soundboard. It's time for new sounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many
some
spots do you have?
A lot.
Okay. How many?
Yeah,
are
I'm going to wipe out some of the old ones. There's a lot that I don't use in here.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like this one I used for the first time in a long time. I'm going to fucking block Steve. He's doing like an AMA on Twitter right now, and I'm tagged in every goddamn he's answering like a tweet per second right now. He's going to like kill my phone battery. How about join the podcast, you fucking idiot?
With
Wow, he is
refreshing hints of
answering a lot of
coriander. Blue Moon is the only beer made in a ballpark. And
Right.
that's what I like about it. You can taste the grass, ash, all that with every swig.
Well, it threw me off. I was going to do that. I was going to jump right into the read.
I
And it
know.
appears that this is a brand new read for 2025.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a new moon.
That's what they're calling it. I mean, my favorite new one that I added was obviously this one.
I can't even believe it.
Thank you,
I can't
John.
even believe it.
That's undoubtedly my favorite drop. But I'm gonna add some new ones to the board for 2025. New year, new sounds. Trades, free agency, roster cuts. Baseball season feels so far away, but excitement, it's already building. Blue Moon gives you a dose of ballpark nostalgia without even being at the park. In fact, Blue Moon was born in a ballpark at the Sandlot Brewery in Denver, Colorado. I've been there. Lovely, lovely place. Its bold flavor, bright explosion of color, and iconic orange slice ritual guarantees a one-of-a-kind beer experience year round. T, how many Blue Moons did you have for New Year's Eve?
I started drinking around noon, so I had roughly 11. But I
Okay.
was the only one who made it to midnight.
Where was Martha?
She passed out in bed,
Okay.
but I stayed
You-
up
Why didn't you go to bed
wrecked?
with her?
because I wanted to do this like cool little move where like I woke her up at midnight and like kissed her and then put her back to bed, and that was like what the
What do you mean by
T-Dog
that?
way was. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean put her back to bed?
Wasn't she already
sleeping.
in bed?
Yeah, but I was like, all right, you can sleep now.
Oh, so you're telling her what she can do with her own life?
She prefers it that way.
Okay. Did she prefer Blue Moon before she went to bed?
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. From its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something that is one of a kind, best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color? A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all off-season long. Make winter weather feel like spring training. Blue Moon Belgian style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to see your delivery options. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter, celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Suck one.
And suck one. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Was there anything else from the notes that you were feeling super strongly about? Oh, the 6-man rotation. I don't love that. I don't love that. And I think, didn't Giolito say that he doesn't love that either?
Yeah, he told Bradfo that he really likes kind of 4 days rest. That's the rhythm that works for his body or whatever it may be. I do think they're going to do it from, different points in the season. I don't think it's going to be something they do for like 162. But if you look when they start the season on March 27th, they have one off day between then and April 17th. Wouldn't surprise me in that spot if you get them kind of mixing and matching if Cutter Crawford's still on the roster then. And they say, hey, early in the year, Buehler, Giolito, Crochet, guys with workload management / injury history, let's ease them in and not go nuts here. I don't think it's going to be something where they run a 6-man rotation for 6 months. That feels a little crazy. But you'd be stupid not to take advantage of your depth here and there.
I mean, I literally pitched this when Lou and Will were on the show and was laughed at. And I know Jay is talking about it with the Dodgers. The Dodgers have like a 40-man rotation. Like they go in between their minors and everything. I do kind of think it makes the most sense given the roster construction. Cutter's as good as Buehler, and you could argue has been better. So and Giolito, we don't know. Like he's been adamant. Like I will be back. Oh, first day of spring training, I'll be the first guy there. Cool. Let's see what you are, because I know last year there were high hopes, but you were coming off a year where you led the league and home runs yielded, and now you've missed a year. So. Yeah, I think in an ideal world today, with the epidemic of pitching injuries, trying to push these guys to 30 starts is crazy, especially trying to bank on it in consecutive years. So, yeah, I don't think it'll stay a 6-man rotation, but I don't think it'll be because they stopped doing it. I think it'll be because guys stop pitching. I think you should be aiming for everyone to be making 24, 25 starts. I think you should be doing phantom IL stints. You should be doing illegal roster manipulation to make it happen. Like there's really nothing that says they can't. And between like Penrod, Priester, Fitz, those guys bouncing up and down, like they should be using those guys in spot starts to get guys rest, skip starts throughout the year against bad teams. Like you shouldn't be pitching your best pitchers against bad teams. It's a waste of time, an absolute waste of time. And I'd like to see them do that.
Yeah, I'm curious because I think this is where like the bullpen construction and like the Jeff Hoffman, whoever you want to insert into that, role kind of comes into play, because you're going to have a guy in Liam Hendricks. I assume they're going to have to protect to some degree this year, right? First year coming back from Tommy John. Garrett Whitlock, what is going to be the rules on him this year? Like how comfortable are they going to be willing to use him on back-to-back days depending on the role? So like if you're going to have one arm shorter in the bullpen, are you a little more uncomfortable in some of those situations? I can see the flip side too, where if you have Whitlock who can go multiple innings and you're willing to give Slayton 2-inning outings once again, or say you're willing to extend if Cutter Crawford ends up in the bullpen, that might give you some room to do that as well. But I think, they're going to balance it. They're going to try to keep guys fresh as much as they can and try to avoid what happened early last year, where a lot of guys ended up on the IL very quickly in Pivetta and Bayo, and it left them scrambling for months at a time before, they were able to pull through. And they were fortunate at that time the league kind of adjusted to what they were doing. But like Cooper Criswell, if he's the last man in the bullpen, you could easily push him in to start. Hey, go throw 4 innings one day and go from there. You can structure the staff in a few different ways. And I just know Cora has been hesitant in recent years because he doesn't like working with a short bullpen. But maybe that's where Breslow comes in and like, hey, it's different than the Heim era, because I remember wanting Kodai Senga and I was like, 6-man rotation, please give it to me. And they were like ill at the idea of bringing the 6-man. But in the middle of every offseason, they do this where they go, yeah, we're open to it. And then first day of spring training, Core's like, no, we're not doing it. Yeah. I don't think it'll be that dramatic this time. But yeah, pick your spots with it. Keep everyone fresh. That's the main goal, because the season should really start in the second half for you in October if you want to be a playoff team.
It's not the 20 years ago where the pitchers on the roster are going to be the pitchers on the roster all year. Like I do think smarter teams are utilizing the entire 40, and they should. Like the guy's going to be bounced up and down. Like Weissert will pitch important innings this year. I'm sure of it. And then he'll get sent back down and spend, 15 days he's going to spend down there. And then he'll be like, someone else will take their turn. Like Guerrero,
Josh Winkowski, your turn.
Right. The idea that Guerrero, as much as I like him and think he could be a legitimate closer option, I think for the short term, while guys still have options, you can't in good faith in terms of trying to win, have that guy on the roster the whole year. You can't. You just you got to go spend your time because what, they can option him 3 times, right? Yeah. So I think you have to take advantage of those 45 days and bring guys up and down, especially in that back end. Obviously, you're not going to option Cutter. I think that's more insulting than anything. But everyone else, yeah, you're going to spend time in Worcester, pal. Get ready to learn the Mass Pike. But I bring this up. This is my insane trade idea of the week. So I've been listening to Chris Rose just because I'm trying to get, like, no one else is talking about. Obviously I listen to Jared, Baseball is Dead, those guys, but I just try and hear, you get sucked into your own little world and it sounds like an echo chamber. What are other people in the national media saying? And I have so much disdain for so many of them. I like Chris Rose, so I listen to him. He's a Guardians fan. He's floated multiple times over the last month that Cleveland would more likely than not listen on Emmanuel Clase. How quickly does that fix most of your problems? I'd say very, because they want major league guys too.
Last year.
Sure, I think they overworked him.
Devin Williams
that wouldn't
too.
Stop me. Yeah, that wouldn't stop me from going out and getting him. What was he, 3rd in the Cy Young?
Yeah, Kirby Yates was 7th.
There's got
I'd be fine with Yates too, but Clase has been filthy for a while now. That last year, it was tough at the end, no doubt. But that wouldn't.
It was more than tough. It was very, very bad.
We've signed the biggest contract for a pitcher in Red Sox history, a guy who could not perform in the postseason. So I don't know that we can point to that as a reason to not go get a guy.
Contract's very team friendly.
He was due,
super
though.
Team friendly.
Locked up through 2028. Those last 2 years are $10 million team options with a $2 million buyout.
He signed an extension?
Yeah, I remember it being really team friendly at the time too.
That was dumb in hindsight.
Lock up some money as a reliever.
Yeah, 5 years, $20 million.
Yeah, it's dumb. But the Guardians are sitting here like, we're ready to get off this. This is too rich for our blood.
Yeah. Be an interesting thing to happen, but I just don't.
You can do it 2-for-1. You get Lane Thomas too.
Coley. It starts with Coley. Coley puts it out into the ether. Then it starts to pick up steam on Twitter. Then the Red Sox see it and they steal his ideas, and that happens. So
that could be a 2-for-1 though, right? Like you go get Lane Thomas as your kind of another platoon guy.
Lane Thomas.
He mashed lefties. He's another one of those like Hunter Renfroe types. And they were listening on him throughout the offseason. He was a lot better before he got to Cleveland this year. He was like a 109 OPS plus guy with the Nationals.
Yeah.
Pass.
Shoot higher, yes.
Well, if you're looking at the Twins, for example, they have a litany of high leverage arms you could try and attach to Correa. Like that's where I would be spending this next month, really.
Would be nice.
Like if you had Correa at 3rd and Campbell at 2nd and Devers your DH, like I think you're the AL front runner. I genuinely believe that.
You just have to kill Yoshida.
I don't know.
Last time we said that on this podcast, a mother of the player being offered up for sacrifice got very upset. So,
I will say though, the American League is extremely wide open. That's why it's going to be even more frustrating if you don't put the finishing touches on this roster.
Frustrating.
Yeah. FR baby.
Yeah, that's right there. That's right there. We just don't want to take it. I wish I had more intel as far as what was going on in the Red Sox front office. It would just make me feel comfortable to know what conversations they were having with other teams. Like, are you thinking outside the box like this? Like, are you thinking about like Correa in a reliever? Like, are you thinking about calling up Cleveland over Clase? Like, are these conversations happening internally? Are you attempting to do these things? I don't know. I would just feel more comfortable knowing that they were trying to do these things versus the stuff that leaks, which is, oh, we're going to attach Triston Casas to Yoshida just to get Yoshida off the team. It's like, that's the most creative thing that we could think of. I'd like to believe that that's not true. I would like to believe that that's just the one that leaked and that they are trying different creative ideas that aren't happening. But all we have to go on is what we've seen reported, and it's the brain dead trades like that.
But you got to buy in on that Gammons Twitter account. Peter Gammons, very pro Craig Breslow comments. You do got to kind of read through it a little bit, but all due respect to Peter Gammons, legend in the game, legend in the game, Hall of Famer, great human being. Take the phone away. I want more.
No.
I want more horse talk with Gammo.
I gotta read that tweet.
That's all have Tyler throw on the tycoon music and have Tyler read it.
Yeah. Pull it up, T.
Hold on.
You printed it out and put it on your wall or something. I remember the first time that Gammons tweeted me. I told you he would just talk shit to me for years.
He didn't like you, or was it in like a fun way?
No, he didn't like me. I don't think.
He's very interactive on Twitter with like many accounts, even like the fan accounts that just fuck around.
Yeah, I don't think he knew who I was when he was tweeting at me. He just saw a tweet that he disagreed with and clapped back. He has no idea who I am. Like, I've seen him at Fenway a bunch, and he's very nice. Like, I always shake his hand and say hi, ask him how he's doing, but there's no way he's like, oh, it's that motherfucker from Twitter. Like, he has no clue. There's no correlation in his brain to my account and who I am in person.
I do have the tweet here.
Please hold.
In response to me tweeting at Alex Bregman, we get it. You want to be a Red Sox, when he wished everyone a Merry Christmas. We don't worry about your baseball results. It's the horses when your grandfather backed Hank and Richie Allen's horse in the Kentucky Derby, the first horse owned by African American in the Debbie. We have waited for the Bregman family back in the race. ... And he's on his way.
What happened to Bullet?
He died.
Love Peter Gammons.
I told you he's a legend. You'll never forget the first time that you get a reply from Gammo.
People at work like congratulated me when I came in the next day.
Yeah. I was about to say that. Like,
they're like, "Do you know what this means?" I was like, "Yeah, I know. I know how legendary Peter."
Do they
Gammons
know what
is.
it means? Because I think they're trying to say, like, do you know what this means? Like, Peter Gammons knows who you are. Like, he doesn't.
No, not at all. He's like, this kid's an idiot on Twitter.
No. It might as well say like username 1505368. You're a number to him. You're a pawn in his game.
A bot.
Yeah, you're just a piece to the puzzle that is his Twitter account.
You're the stone in which he steps upon to cross the river.
That's right.
Like, he just used your head to just get to the other side so we could talk about black horses. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Walker Buehler and Alex Bregman to own a horse together, though. That is intriguing.
Why? What's so crazy about that?
I don't know. It's just random. I didn't know they were friends.
Dodgers, Astros. I wouldn't peg them to be friends.
I think a lot of players got over it, especially,
But people like own horses. Like, you don't got to be friends with the other people who own the horse, right?
People
like, it's just
horses.
It's an investment.
People own horses.
Yeah. It's like The Sopranos. Like, Tony Soprano just started like buying into that random ass horse that they murked. He's like, oh yeah, like now you're my horsey, and then they killed him.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Did you find that inspirational to own an animal and then slaughter it?
It got me going a little bit. I won't lie. Shout out to Samantha Milliken. She turned 11 on the 29th.
Shout out Samantha.
Yep. My Labradoodle. 11 years is pretty good. First one to make it past 7.
Gotta tip your cap to Samantha.
She's lumpy, but she's a fighter.
Jesus.
It's getting more depressing as it goes.
Sam's not depressing. She's healthy and doing very well.
You just said she's lumpy.
She is a little lumpy. I don't know. She grows things like on her sides.
Typically cancer.
No, do not say that shit. She went to the vet this past year and there was no cancer.
Oh, they just tell you they took her to the vet.
Oh, no. I didn't go to the appointment that day. I was at work. If Sam dies, I die. It's that simple.
I don't think that's the case.
Oh, it will be. I don't have anything else to live for.
Murder, suicide.
Mhm.
Martha listens, by the way.
Love you, babe.
Yeah.
She gets
Do
it.
you? I apologize, Martha. I'm sorry for him.
Don't speak directly to her.
Well, it's, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say?
So he can't apologize to your lovely girlfriend on your behalf, but you can just motorboat D-trains honks all night
That's
long.
crazy, dude. This is crazy language.
So I'm
agree.
talking to Train right now, and she said, "How's the yapping going?" And I said, "We actually talked about you a lot." And she said, "You're canceled." And I said, I said, "Are you gonna listen?" And she said, "Listen to you guys make fun of Tyler saying he called my titties the goats." So she already knew. She already knew, T.
I can't go back to your house, man. It's
Yeah,
over.
you can, of course.
No, I can't.
You can. T, come on.
Dude.
T.
How am I going to explain this to her?
She already understands.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, she already understands, brother.
That's not my vibe. I'm not the guy to walk in and be like,
Sweaty creep.
titties.
Yeah, I don't.
Sweaty creep. Fuck you, Colin.
Heavy
man.
breather? Yeah,
Yep.
I think it is. I think
Red in the face.
You know what's funny is that I think I tweeted it. That video of when you came to my house for the playoff stream and you're just like holding up the fucking Pikachu.
You're bashing it off the camera.
Yeah, they've had interactions before.
Yeah,
And then-
she's super nice.
Super nice.
all
Let's see.
smooth.
Here it is. T's got his Pikachu.
Still don't have the Pikachu.
He's hitting my ring camera.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hello.
I just come in.
Wow.
I'm awkward, dude. Everyone knows I'm awkward.
Hello.
It's like when you go to your friend's house and their mom answers the door and you don't know what to say.
You know, just act natural, dude.
Dude, I'm not You want me to act natural?
Yeah, man.
Bad.
Look at you. Look at you.
Sup?
I
Oh, God.
Oh God.
I've just been randomly tweeting about T all the time.
I look
Like,
over and I'm just like, am I dying? Like, did they tell him I was terminal? Like,
Yeah.
feels like Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, I don't like tag him. I'll just have thoughts about T and just tweet them out. And sometimes he sees them, sometimes he doesn't.
It's going to be a big year for T.
I'm just like, what is wrong? Like, what did I do something?
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's just concerning. It's like, oh, this is the year. Like, you're trying to pull me up. Like, this kid, he's dying, but
What
have
do you
hope.
mean?
I don't know. I
He's
just
your
worry.
biggest believer. He called you the MVP. He says
That's
it's
true.
your year.
Yeah.
He says you're going to repeat. It sounds like. And
Yeah,
you're
I
just
said
like, fuck
I'm
you,
a little
dude.
more
Nice
than halfway
tits.
through the 24 best of 10 episode, and I'm pretty sure T has caught at least one suspension in every segment that's been featured. And then Lana Rhodes, who, by the way, met, nice woman, took a picture with her.
Was dating, what's that guy's name? Mike Malak?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
She tweeted, "Who had the hottest content in 2024?" And I tweeted a picture of T.
That picture's crazy.
I tweeted 2025 is going to be the year of T. A lot of my tweets are just about T.
It's a T account.
I do like that.
Yeah, I tweet about you all the time.
There's no one more pro T than Jerry, and Tyler absolutely hates it.
Yeah, I don't think T has sent a single tweet that didn't have 3 spaced out sentences in it since we told him to stop doing that. There's uncoachable and then there's T.
I was struggling badly at first. I think I've been better the last few days.
I don't know. I've muted you since then. I don't want to see it anymore.
No.
Just want to talk about you.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to tweet about you, Jared.
All right. Yeah, I've been tweeting about you a lot. I mean, a lot. Most of it's good.
I
Most
just
of it's
tweeted
good.
about you. I didn't tag you.
That's fine.
Verbal tag.
What was the other tweet I wanted to address? There's another tweet in here that I wanted to address. I just passed it. Where is it?
Was it my attempt to summarize the Breslow media conference? Where you absolutely own
I don't
me
think
in it?
Yeah, I dominated you big time. But yeah, there's a lot of people that, they come to your defense and they're like, I like the way that his shitty tweets look. And I'm like, that's fine. Then you can read them. I don't care.
But I think you're right. And I've been doing a lot of the two lines.
I am
You
right,
are right.
Which brings me to my next complaint.
Okay.
Which is like, well, I guess this would be one of my final thoughts. During this very podcast, there on the Section 10 Reddit, there is a post. There's a post titled, Jared is very full of himself. That's the title. The body says, Jared acts like he's humble, but he's constantly talking about his followers, how his tweets get views, etc. Pause. So when we do tea time, and I'm trying to explain to Tyler what the format like that I use that works for me, then I'm illustrating that by being like, look at the numbers that these tweets get, and then look at the numbers that your tweets get. I'm not sitting here being like, yeah, man, million views and blah, blah. Like, I'm not. This is like, this tweet got 1 million views, and look at how simple it was. That's what I did. Next line. He also mentioned how he started/revolutionized the streaming game while he was at Barstool. That's just simply not true. And I can recall 1 to 2 streams he was on. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe I ever said that I revolutionized the streaming game. I don't recall saying that. I have a very good memory. I'm open to being wrong. I don't think I ever said that or anything close to that.
That would be such a funny claim to be like, I reinvented, revolutionized, and pushed forth.
I think
you're Netflix. Like,
I think if anything, I could say I was on some of the most memorable streams that Barstool ever did, like the Ellie stream and the Astros Altuve walk-off one. Like those two were all-timers. But revolutionizing the streaming game feels like a very strong claim that I don't believe I made. And then the last line, I like Jared, but he definitely thinks he's the man. That's true. Guilty. I feel like, yes, that's true. As far as the Red Sox Twitter space goes, unequivocally, I mean, my Twitter bio says the tribal chief. That means I'm the fucking head of the table. I'm the top dog. Like, yes, I agree with you. Acts humble? No, that's not true. I feel like if you were to ever talk to me off the record in person, that I would be very genuine with you. But if you want to have a dick measuring contest in the Red Sox content space, I've got the biggest dick. Tate?
I feel like now that I know you personally, like I feel like I have the weird experience of being a fan and completely being on the outside and having no relationship to actually having a relationship with you. You're not like that in real life. Like if you're like sitting down and you're having the conversation, you're not, bro, I'm the tribal chief. No, you're kind of like more chill and reserved than I think most people even understand. Like it's not really your forte to like put your dick on people's face. Yeah, like that's just not your personality type.
In person, I barely speak.
I feel like you're more similar because I'm more reserved like that too. We're closer in that sense.
Yeah, if you're hanging out with me, I'm a man of very few words. If we're on a podcast, yeah, like I'm talking about things I like. I like baseball. I like wrestling. I'll talk about those very passionately. But if we're just chilling, then I'm straight up chilling. I'm not saying much.
It's a terrible medium to be reserved and laid back podcasting. Like you really don't want to do that.
Yeah, but I save it up. Like I have all like
sure.
I've said multiple times on this episode that I had things that I thought of in my head since our last recording that I was saving for tonight. It's like no one in this fucking house appreciates my humor, so I'm saving it for the pod. So I do. They don't find me funny at all. It's crazy.
You at the dinner table being like, so I'm going to start calling her Train. They're like, what?
Okay, boom.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
boom.
okay, boom.
Yeah.
Your mother's
They
name is
don't-
Train now. They're like, boo.
Yeah. They don't get it. They don't. Yeah.
No, it's not your audience.
No. Yeah. Awful focus group.
Less than half your age.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, listen, you don't get it now, but I'm fucking funny. And you'll someday you're going to grow up and appreciate the good shit and be like, wow, I had an endless supply of hilarious content and I just didn't take advantage of it. Biggest waste.
We appreciate it, Jerry.
Oh, thank you.
You're a funny guy.
It's really for, it's for you guys at the end of the day anyway. You know? Yeah, it's for you. It's for you. I can't find this tweet that I was going to reference.
It was about
It was
tea?
about me.
I don't know if it was about tea.
Someone just tweeted, is Tyler Milliken 5 feet or am I tripping? I am 5'10" and a half.
Mm,
That
You're like
is
5'8".
definitely taller than you.
you're not.
Check the pictures.
Yeah, it depends on the angle. Fucking badass.
All right. Well,
I'm not what?
I beat you vertically
did-
in widthwise, okay?
I didn't say it into the microphone.
No, you definitely said it.
Yeah, but I didn't say it into the microphone.
It still counts.
No. I think you're
Might be
I
the
think-
loudest thing you said
no,
today.
No, T. Yeah, there was that one guy that was like calling him T is cringe. I'm like, first of all, Mike Eamon started calling Tyler T.
That's right.
So that's what it's. Don't come at me for that.
Shout out
Go
Ian.
ahead, T.
Go ahead, T. Go ahead.
It's just such like a dad or like older brother. Like, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Makes me
Oh.
feel safe.
The way Eamon talks and just carries himself absolutely kills me.
He's the best.
Love it.
Goat.
Absolutely
dude.
love it.
Oh, that's what it was.
Oh.
Someone said that I was copying you because I said I want my first tweet of 2025 to be about Christian Campbell and Roman Anthony. And I had a bunch of people being like, oh, you're copying Tyler now? And I was like, bitch, I do this every year. Like, I'll be like, oh, I want my first tweet of the year to be about Nomar Garciaparra. I don't know. Like, if it's funny and it's a bit and someone else is doing it, I probably did it first.
I'd argue 90% of my account is inspired from how you originated your Twitter. That stats.
Bobby Dahlbeck. Bobby Dahlbeck.
I'm like, you're like J. Cole and I'm like Corday.
I don't know. I don't know who those people are. So
Coley will get it.
I've heard
No,
of J.
'cause
Cole.
Corday's better than J. Cole. So
Wow, that's a great take. I did not
What was
expect
this
that from
tweet?
you. I thought you'd be a Corday hater.
Jared Carrabba saved my life. Wow.
Someone said, Jared don't like you that much, T.
Steve tweeted, uh-oh. What'd you
in
do,
reply
T?
to that?
Did I reply?
No, I'm saying Steve tweeted that in
Oh,
reply.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if.
But you couldn't save bullets. Thank you.
I just want deals, man. At the end of the day,
Oh, I'm dying for deals.
how sick would a deal be right now?
Oof.
Even a
happened to-
bad one. Just make me feel something.
The reliever market just refuses to go. Like, is a reliever signed since Chapman signed with the Red Sox? Like a legit top, near
Poor Lucas Sims
Yes.
is just sitting out there.
5 or 6.
Yes, but they all signed to become starting pitchers.
Yeah, exactly. Like home.
Yeah.
And even that was what, like beginning of December?
It was a while ago. It was their
It's
first
been a
move,
minute.
wasn't it?
It was last year, dude.
Got him.
Smoke.
December
'em.
6th.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the only other thing that I wanted to hit on this podcast, because I know we got to do a bonus pod. Where are you guys at on the Red Sox not getting a meeting with Roki Sasaki? Are you guys embarrassed by that? Do you care?
Yeah.
Yeah, very disappointed. But the Phillies didn't get a meeting. The Braves didn't get one. It sucks that you have this history with Japanese players and like even that. And with Andrew Bailey here and Craig Breslow, like you should have a pitching infrastructure. Breslow friggin' flew to Japan to go watch the guy. You think you'd be able to get a meeting, but yeah, man, I guess it kind of speaks to where the Red Sox are at right now. And I think you look at the Yankees and the Mets, it's clearly not only an East Coast thing. So what else can you really draw from it?
I mean, I do at the end of the day fully believe he already has decided and is largely holding these meetings to show, but it's a bad look, even if you want to believe that. It's a horrible look. I didn't think they had a chance the second money was taken out of it, but I can't imagine the treatment of Yoshida has helped in this matter at all.
I'll go as far as to say I think it hurt.
I think it's pretty fair to say that.
I think it had a negative impact.
Yeah. So it's embarrassing to not, even if it's a fake meeting, like we were able to get the fake meetings with Soto. It would be nice to be able to get the fake meetings with Sasaki. It's a horrible look. Like it's money and time wasted because we know how much effort they spent scouting him.
And making this video that they sent, like the video apparently wasn't enough to sway him to even feel a need to have a 2-hour convo with you.
Can't be sending videos, T. I don't know any video that's ever worked. I haven't heard of a single video presentation like Shigano.
The Otani one didn't work.
Oh,
originally.
you know what? There is a video I know that worked. John Lester and the Cubs. I think they made a video and like simulated what it would look like if he was the winning pitcher pitching Game 7 for the Cubs in the World Series.
MLB The Show, baby. I can do that.
I don't know. I would love to see what the video looked like, but I'm pretty sure they did that for him in their pitch.
But that was Theo, right?
Yeah.
Who drafted him?
Correct.
I think without the video, they probably would have signed him.
He was not the GM yet. Mike Port was the interim GM, but it was kind of like Theo Epstein is 17 years old, so he was actually calling the shots, but they had like
drafting him.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about signing him. Yeah,
no, signing him.
They were
also
familiar
Theo.
with each other from their time in Boston.
They had become acquainted over the years. Yeah.
Right. So I think without the video, if the Cubs offered the same contract sans video, I think he ends up there.
Yeah.
One of the last episodes of Section 10 was the John Lester interview, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or near the end?
Yeah.
Because he tells a story of like, I actually thought I was going back to the Red Sox for like a hot second, and then the Cubs completely won him over.
Mm-hmm. I love John Lester.
That was an underrated disaster trade.
Led to you getting Rick Porcello. When I saw Young here.
Yeah,
I feel like we probably would have been fine if we had kept Lester.
You would have been all right.
You know, if we didn't just trade Lester for Cespedes to trade him for Porcello. Like,
you never trade for David Price, which, who knows how that plays out with the World Series, but then you don't have to attach him to Mookie when you dealt Mookie, so maybe you get a better return. David Price was also arguably World Series MVP.
He was
correct. World Series MVP. And they still would have got him. I don't know why that would have stopped them from doing that.
You think they go and pay Price after paying Lester? No way.
They paid Porcello. Like, it's not like they didn't pay
$82 million.
Yeah, it was like 80.
But if you Lester don't trade him, I don't think he requires that much. I don't think Lester's nearly that expensive. Got like you just don't trade him.
130.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
I also feel like Price was their response to realizing they had fucked it up with Lester. They don't fuck it up with Lester. I don't think they overextend that far.
126.
Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, they added several pitchers.
155.
On top of Porcello. Over how many? 7?
6 years, 155 with a $25 million option for a 7th year.
Okay. So what's that? Like 23?
Something like that. That was one of those dudes that never should have played for another team.
Correct.
Because he was just as good. I think he had the exact same ERA with the Cubs that he did with the Red Sox.
He was great. He was bad at one thing.
Wow.
And we didn't even know that. That wasn't a thing until he went to the Cubs. That was not known here.
That's true. That's true.
It does make me happy he's willing to come back here still, though. Like some players, obviously, you go through that breakup, you get dealt, whatever it may be. The fact that he was at spring training this past year, I hope that is a yearly thing. At least makes you, even though the Cubs stuff and that feels like how he's going to be remembered for a lot of people, you still have the Red Sox connection.
Yeah, we fucked that one up.
He should have fucked up a lot of stuff. 31 should have been retired. Agreed. If he'd played his whole career here.
Agreed. All right. Any other final thoughts, Tyler?
No, I don't have anything.
McMahon?
We got him.
I knew it. Let's go.
We signed Soto. Was it Chris Clegg? Is that
yes.
the prospect?
Yeah, the whole tweet breaking him down.
Yeah,
number 8 on MLB Pipeline's international class rankings for this year.
But his number 4 hitter,
yes,
which is not a small thing. Like I feel like, especially in recent years, we've got like Yohan Cespedes, we've gotten Arias. Like we'll always get a big bonus guy, but I feel like they're always that 10 to 15 range. You know what I mean? Which it's just a ranking, but we're not getting like DeVries. That top of the international free agent market. So that actually that does make me happy that his name, what is it? Dorian Soto?
Yeah, Dorian Soto. Exactly.
Like very funny that his last name's Soto. I don't know if they're related at all. I don't think they are, Tyler. I'm sure you know
as
more.
As far as I know, I don't believe so.
He's
our
just a
Valdez replacement.
Who matched. I mean, he's 17. He's going to take some time, but it did make me happy. And if they're spending, because I do think some teams have probably made some commitments, but teams like the Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Padres, they're probably holding their space for Sasaki for that. So the Red Sox kind of jumping on that early, being like, hey, we didn't get the meeting. Let's go get this guy to agree right now. I know a lot of these are worked out years in advance, but I'm sure there are some guys in flux right now.
A lot.
Who probably had a commitment that they don't know is going to be kept right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they can kind of sneak another top guy here if the money dries up from one of these other teams. That's what I'm looking for.
No, I think that's a major thing. And, there was the report today. I can't remember where it came from, but, Sasaki's expected to make his decision between January 15th and the 23rd. Many people think he'll wait to the 23rd because that will give essentially teams an 8-day window. You can add up to 60% of your bonus pool on top of that through trade. So whatever it may be. So yeah, if it's, the Dodgers or Padres who seem like the front runners for Sasaki, if those teams have guys that are going to fall off, jump on them. Why the hell not? Whether it's pitching or hitting, and even from a position player standpoint, like I think an underrated thing with the farm system right now is, a year from now when, the remaining big 3 are all promoted, the farm system is going to look a lot different and it's going to feel a lot thinner. So it's like replenishing that and making sure you have that next wave of guys. And, we're talking 4 or 5 years down the line here, but if you're going to be one of these top organizations, you need to keep these waves coming. That's how the Dodgers and these other teams do it. This is a pathway where, hey, Sasaki told you to fuck off. Cool. Well, pivot and go, take advantage of you being out on this while all these other teams are focused in on him.
Yeah, and if one of these other teams, it's not just another player you might be able to get. You might be able to get a major league player if the Padres need to add some more money and they're willing to give you an arm, you know what I mean, a reliever arm, or if it's part of a larger deal, just us sending, because like the Yankees, we sent them international pool money. I know Sox Prospects and those guys have talked about it. It wasn't for the Sasaki International. It was for the last one, which the Red Sox obviously weren't going to use that money, and the Yankees
and they signed someone within like 5 days after that. Trade,
no, they
whatever
knew
it was.
They knew there was someone they wanted, obviously, but we got our backup catcher. Like that, to me, is the most shrewd move Breslo's made this offseason. Like that was some creativity to get a backup catcher for free, and I do think I'm going to end up liking him more than our current catcher.
I think that's a great take, Coley, and I don't disagree. I will add for my final thought. Can
I get on board with that too? Can I join the bandwagon?
You think he'll be better than Connor Long?
Yes, I'm on board with that take. Yeah,
I said I'll like him more. I didn't say he'll be objectively better, but I think defensively he better be.
I think defensively he'll be better, and there would be very similar hitter-wise.
Sure.
I think it's also important for the Red Sox. Listen, you didn't get your Carson Kelly, who I still think would have been such a perfect fit here, especially if you knew you were going to end up shipping Kyle Teal out in a trade. Doesn't mean don't come into camp without going to sign, a AAA catcher or someone who is kind of that fringy major league guy. Elias Diaz is kind of the name that keeps coming back to me. Someone who's going to hit for a decent average, not a ton of power, not a ton of OBP, but really strong framing numbers and blocking numbers.
It's an all-star game MVP, I'll have you know.
That is very true. Why not bring a guy like that in on a minor league deal? Make him compete with Narvaez. You shouldn't just hand over the backup job. And worst comes to worst, you have good depth, and he'll have an opt-out, Diaz, you sign here, you can opt out at the end of camp if it's not a spot for you. and just let them compete. But it does not hurt to bring in more defensive first guys. They were very heavy on that front a year ago when Breslow first got here. Just make sure you stack some depth, because I do want a little bit more there instead of just simply relying on Narvaez. That feels like somewhat risky.
It's backup catcher for $500K. I think it's, even if he stinks, it's fine.
No, not in terms of the player, but in terms of just having another option there. I think that's going to be important.
Sure.
If you have an injury or whatever, like Sebi Zavala is the next guy up. After that, you start to get really thin really quick.
Yeah, I just don't know whose third string catcher is good.
Not great.
Baseball, you know? Like Gary Sanchez is. I know he's on the Orioles right now.
Yeah.
He plays for 4 teams a year. Like there are ways to get catchers.
I just want someone, especially with Wong's defensive struggles, someone you feel good about receiving wise that you don't have to think too much about.
Sure, I don't disagree.
I also think Wong's someone who could probably use an IL stint once or twice over the course of a year with his body. Keep him fresh, because he looks run down every single year by July.
Well, don't play him at like center field. Like let's just keep him at catcher.
It's a good take.
Simple.
My final thought. I'm standing by. It's going to be the year T. It's going to be the year T. It's going to be, I mean, if 2024 was the year where he was Section 10 MVP before he opened up his mouth, what might 2025 hold for this man, this young man?
Don't put a limit on me, baby.
Who's got a bright future ahead of him. If he were coachable, the sky's the limit. He's not. He does not listen to any advice. But when he goes on his own path and he... you disagree? You think you're coachable? You're not.
I think I'm coachable. I do.
You're not. But when you trust your own gut and you do your own thing, you still do great things. You could be greater if you listen to coaching. You don't. But you have a good enough sense for this industry. And I think 2025 is going to be the best year of your life.
I'm going to have my Jarren Duran year.
You're going to have your...
Don't say something that hurts me.
You're going to have your Dustin Pedroia 2007 year.
Okay. Rookie of the year. You're not going to give me the MVP?
World Series champion. I don't know. It feels like it.
Listen, there's nothing better than being a 2007 World Series champion.
Right. You're going to have your Dustin Pedroia 2007 year. Yes, T.
My actual final thought.
You can't have more than one final thought.
MVPs can do that.
You didn't win. Talk. You didn't
Jeremy?
Win, yeah, Jeremy, what do you got?
Jonathan Papelbon essentially telling me to please put my shirt on and that I was gross. Felt very weird, somewhat good, but also somewhat bad that one of my childhood heroes is just like, your body makes me physically ill. I'd do anything for you to not do it again.
Can I counter?
Continue.
I think that you're in way better shape now than you were in the picture that I tweeted.
Oh, yeah. I haven't lost a ton of weight, but I haven't gained really anything either. I've just been
You're definitely in better shape now than you were in that picture.
A year ago, well, that was during the summer, but even a year ago was crazy. I was trying to
You're doing good, T.
I just changed my gym membership to Wareham. So catch me at Planet Fitness. I'm about to be putting in work.
Damn, dude.
We might get some videos of me in the gym.
It's the whole package. It's the content. It's Martha. It's the gym. It's the diet.
I'm going.
It's cleaning up your fucking Twitter. And then the year T finally commences. It's the whole package.
Hooked on Fent.
Yep. Buy your, the opioid crisis. Yep. Buy your T stock now, baby. Because it's up. Bonus pod. When the fuck does this bonus pod come out? If
Steve's the one who usually responds.
Yeah, I don't know. We're recording it next, so you'll find it. We'll tweet it out. Who cares? You'll find it. All right, we'll see you for the bonus pod. Bye-bye.
Buenas noches, amigos.